Hello, everyone, and welcome to State of the Realm, your weekly Final Fantasy XIV podcast. This week, we're combining the show that didn't happen last week with the show that was supposed to happen this week, and we're going to be doing a spoilerific patch 4.3 first impressions. So it's been the first time we've ever done first impressions with spoilers included. So apologies for missing last week's show. We'll talk about that a little bit after we introduce our other co-host for this one. So I'm one of your hosts, Michael, Mr. Happy Poverom. Of course, joining me is Slyh, aka Slythefox, aka Slyakagreyfox, aka my boy Blue. How you doing?
Yeah, that was pretty quick, but
sorry, I went full twist on that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
No one's heard of that guy in like
that was
15
a skill
years.
speed Sam opener.
There you go. That's inaccurate. that is heavily inaccurate. How you doing, Slyh?
I'm doing pretty good. Ready for June.
Ready for June. Are you really though?
I'm never ready.
He's never ready.
No.
That's unfortunate. That's okay. I believe in you, Slyh. I believe in you. And we have two guests. So we were originally just going to have one guest for the show and have one guest for the show that we didn't do last week. So we've now taken both guests and put them on the same show. So first, we have the guest who was going to be on the show Friday. We have fellow Final Fantasy XIV streamer and content creator Fahros. They can't see you yet, so saluting to them doesn't really do too much.
Hey, it's the thought that counts.
Yeah, that's why I let them know. That's why I let them know.
Thank you.
He saluted all of you, so if you can salute him back, that would be much appreciated. How you doing, Fahros?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on.
he typed it in the chat too. Just 100% make
just
sure.
Solidify it.
There you go. Sorry we had to push your appearance back till this Tuesday, but I'm glad you were able to make it all the same.
Of course.
And finally, we can't do a spoiler show without our resident lore nerd, so we decided to bring on Ethys for this show, because this is a show that if he had, of all the spoiler shows of him being on, this is the most important one that Ethys has ever been on. And that face that he's wearing, he will be wearing for the entirety of the show, and they can see your smug face right now.
So I've been practicing this. I told you so.
That's you practiced that?
Sure.
It took a lot of practice, didn't it?
Sure.
I feel like it's more like that was prepared about 3 years ago. Okay, I know you prepared the coffee this morning, so I can believe that more so than
oh, that tastes so good.
What does it taste like?
It tastes like
victory.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say being right. Tastes like being right. Oh, I'm sure Chungo tastes like being right, even though it looks so wrong.
No, that definitely tastes like victory. Yeah.
All right, there you go. All right, I'm glad. Well, I'm glad your morning cup of Joe is turned out so amazingly well. So, gentlemen, it's been a week since patch 4.3. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Simple as that.
Let's do it.
You've all played it. You've all experienced it. I'm assuming in its entirety. And we can go balls to the walls on spoilers this show. Don't hold back any names. Don't hold back just nothing like, oh, in case you haven't heard it yet. No, if you're watching, spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled on 4.3, you don't watch anything past this moment. Ethys, stop with the nose. You're enjoying this too much already.
Am I okay? All right. Sorry, hang on.
I didn't say to be miserable. Do you not have an in-between emotion between smug and upset?
No, haven't you noticed?
I don't know. I just wanted to have more faith in you, I guess. It's okay. It's all right. I was going to wear your shirt today, but I forgot. Just as my I guess, we are not worthy kind of thing.
You're pandering.
All right, so what we're going to do is, obviously the main story is the big thing Ethys wants to talk about. But I feel like that's almost going to be the whole show if we start with it. So let's work on some of the smaller things and work our way up to the big thing that Ethys wants to talk about. All right?
If you insist.
All right. So does anybody have any place they'd like to particularly start? If not, we will go with what I consider to be one of the smallest of things in terms of additions to the patch that would be considered substantial.
Let's do that.
Fahros,
Okay.
No, I mean, you don't have to have a preference, but if anyone has something that isn't the main story they'd prefer to start with,
I want to know what Slyh was about ready to say to me. He just stepped to me.
No, I was just saying, like, you haven't been on in a while. We want to hear from you. Like, what?
Oh, all right, yeah. The first thing that comes to my mind in 4.3 is just the Sam buffs and the EX.
All right, so anything else anyone wants to talk?
Did you just do the equivalent of locking my job out of this podcast?
No. But I guess I did say one of the smallest things, any one of the smaller things people wanted to talk about. So the Sam buffs would definitely qualify, right?
That's about as small as you can get. Yeah.
We've been live how many minutes? I already feel attacked.
No. Your buffs are great. He gave you the first the first topic, and you've chosen Sam buffs. All right.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let's talk about them.
Talk about them.
So people thought it was going to be around a 2% buff, which you guys talked about the day of.
Yeah.
I think that turned out to be accurate. That being said, I think that what you said the day of your podcast was true. You said that you thought good samurais were going to put it to work, and that not so great samurais probably wouldn't notice. And I think that was true because I mean, I was sustaining 7.5k in 06S today. I was chilling.
06S is actually like the best place to see a buff in action in terms of
Yeah.
it's literally a training dummy that occasionally decides it wants to be in a different spot.
Yeah, it would have been like 7.3 or 7.2 before. So okay.
All right, so that's it. We're done with the samurai. None of us have anything to contribute, so whatever you say,
Let's talk about this then. If you guys are leading a party in the Party Finder,
okay,
and you want to get a weekly clear, in your opinion, because I think it's a hot topic for my stream, is it fair to lock out a samurai from a weekly clear?
I would only do it because if I need gear, you're competing with me, so that's the only reason I would lock samurai out gear-wise. That's the only reason I would do it. And personally, I already have all my gear, so I don't give a shit. But
so you wouldn't do it.
That's the only time I think it's reasonable with complete random people to lock a job out is if they're competing for gear. So
what about tanks and healers that compete for gear all
fuck
the time?
them.
If they have to. There's nothing you can do about it.
You don't have to compete for crafted accessories on tanks, and not all the healers want the same loot. So that's
so just because there's nothing you can do about it, but the fact that you can do something about it if you're a monk means you're allowed to do something about it.
Yeah, that's it. If whoever's making the party calls the shots there, that's all I'm saying. So, but I will say that if they're locking it out because if they're locking a job out because they think it's not going to make them clear the fight, I don't agree with that. But I will say the majority of samurais I've experienced in the Party Finder are not samurais I would invite back a second time. Only my experience.
Thick ones though.
Yeah, but you're inviting the person on the job.
Yeah, and I'm inviting a random person. So I'll give any person a chance. But as soon as I see that person, if they let's just say I don't have a great track record with samurais, and anyone who's ever worn a yokai watch knows exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. So I just avoid Party Finder instead of avoiding the jobs in the Party Finder.
That's fair.
There you go. But yeah, don't lock jobs out in the Party Finder. That's bullshit.
Thank you.
If the player sucks, kick him. But otherwise,
and that can happen on any job.
Look, coming from a server where you get locked out of the Party Finder for speaking English, cry me a river.
Well,
you play on JP servers.
Yeah, Australia.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't even speak English, dog.
They can't.
No, dude. No, if you try to speak English, you get kicked.
So do you Google Translate, or you just auto translate everything you want to say?
You do, yeah, you do until they
realize that what you tried to say has not at all.
Well, you use auto translate until they figure out that you're English speaking, and then they kick you.
That's sad.
So, like I say, cry me a fucking river.
Party Finder savage. Dang.
Just say you're Ethys Asher. Just say that.
Do you know who the fuck I am?
Say that. Exactly that.
I have several people watching me on Twitch.
Several. What a great choice of words. I have several.
Dozens. I like that.
Literally dozens.
Is this? I'm not digging any further into
Not
this.
in the fuck.
Nani. All right, that's it. Well, that all just got audio clipped for your stream, so I hope you're ready to make. Yep, there you go. I want GIFs. I want audio clips. I want everything, and it's not even for me. It's for him. All right. So, all right. So, samurai buffs, great, fantastic, good. I'm glad because you do enough DPS to actually enjoy them. Good. Don't have great experiences with a lot of samurais, but there's a few. They use them.
Can I ask you a follow-up question?
Sure.
On the topic of samurai buffs, I'd like to have all your guys' opinion on this, actually. So, do you think it's good for the game to give greedy DPS an actual enough DPS to make up for the lack of utility? So, like, going 1-for-1.
I don't like no utility. I don't like no utility because it assumes that the player who's playing that job is playing every single player playing that job is playing at its absolute best. If you're anything but your absolute best on something like Samurai, Black Mage, something that is pretty much solely contributing DPS, you have no other way to contribute to the other people who are contributing potentially more, specifically speaking to lesser skilled players. So that's the one design flaw I find in it. If a player who's at the top can make use of it, great, but otherwise I find that it creates too much of... That's where you get problems like you have in the Party Finder, because the average player does not even remotely make use of the things that will push their job to the maximum.
I don't think it should be 1-for-1.
I don't think you can measure 1-for-1 either, because utility scales with party performance
and coordination for sure. So if you're thinking about it, like what an average, I mean, let's say Brotherhood and an average pug is doing like what, 200 raid DPS, yeah. So should in your opinion Samurai be 200 DPS ahead of Monk on average?
Yes, but ultimately I still don't agree with the design.
You just think it shouldn't be there.
I just think fuck it. You can't cater to the top 1%. Well, that's what Ultimate is for, and even they don't ask for the best DPS possible on Ultimate.
I think the potential raid DPS contribution of more utility jobs should be higher.
How much higher?
High enough.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit higher. I think that in practice you can have samurais contributing more most of the time, like, you know, with normal players, with normal parties in sort of casual content. But I think the potential contribution of those heavy utility jobs needs to be higher.
You gotta remember, I'm playing a job that was laughed at for a full expansion once already, so I'm getting my retribution now.
Oh shit, who's laughing at Ninja?
Monk, you idiot.
He plays Monk. Delete Monk.
Who's laughing at Monk?
For all 3.x, are you shitting me?
Yeah, that's true, actually. Yeah. Are you playing Ninja in 3.x?
I played 3.0, I played Ninja, I was Monk the rest of it, and then I got forced on a Machinist the one time I wanted to play Monk, because everyone was memeing on Monk, so I couldn't get anything done with it.
So you think they should just give Sam's utility in 5.0?
Yeah, fuck it. They're going to. I guarantee you they're going to. Dude, they're going to give them... we already had this discussion 2 weeks ago. You said they're going to give them Weebhood, and it does the exact same thing as Brotherhood.
I think they're going to stray away from it, man. I think they're going to keep them straight up.
I hope they don't. I hope because if they do, it'll take away from their identity, and it will take away from the identity of the other melee.
I'm pretty sure the identity of a samurai is just Midare, fucking 80k Midares. So.
Yeah, so buff Midare.
So just buff Midare.
That sounds happening.
So like no other changes.
So Fahros, would you be amenable to a actual rework of Samurai? Just a complete, you know, straight from the drawing board rework?
Unpopular opinion, I love Samurai how it is right now. I'm like the complete opposite of happy. I love how it is. And I think it's cool to have greedy DPS in the game too. And I think it should be how Ethys said. I think when you have to work hard to coordinate raid buffs, you know, that's a skill that a team has to have. So I think the potential for raid buffs as far as raid DPS goes should be higher than just that greedy DPS, but just by a smidge, to the point to where you're not going to feel like you're gimping your party by bringing a samurai instead of the monk.
The problem is, you're only assuming the player is playing at the absolute best, and 90% of people playing the game do not play the jobs their absolute best.
Well, then nothing matters, right?
So,
no, he's got a point. Then nothing matters.
90% of the players, no composition means shit. So
yeah, exactly.
That's already the case.
There you go. So it doesn't matter. Fuck it. Just play the game. How about that?
It was a good discussion, I thought.
There you go. All right. But anyway, So now that we've gotten the samurai discussion out of the way, is there anything else, Ethys? Is there anything not main story you'd want to start with? Since there was a lot of story. Listen, just not main story to start. Stop giving me the look.
Okay, let's talk about the Namazu and the fact that they literally worship a giant golden chub called the Big One.
I actually had this discussion earlier today with every time they say the big one, I go in a creepy voice. Because that's literally what it is. I'm loving the Namazu quest personally.
Really? I can't. Out of all the base tribe quests we have done, I find the Namazu the least compelling in terms of like their lore and history. I just really don't care. I really don't.
This is the one part of 4.3 I haven't done. What's the big one?
That's their primal.
They're fish. They're
the
fish
big one. Hang on. I'll show you.
I don't want you to show me the big one.
I'll show you the big one.
I don't need to see it.
Get you to get crystals to summon the big one?
I don't want to summon the big one.
Depends how big you want it to be.
That's true. I mean, that's how primal summonings work.
Yeah.
You need more crystals. It makes it girthier. Oh, you went with chubbier. I went with girth.
I feel like I'm getting memes, but I also feel like you guys are serious.
We're half and half.
Semi.
Don't use the word semi on this conversation. Don't use the word semi.
No, it's not semi. It's full chub.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not semi.
Semi was the poor choice of words, Sly.
It's a full chub.
There you go.
Is there a
I don't like that you have this on hand.
I do have this on hand. I was just
You have the big one on hand?
Yeah, I do. I mean, like, at least 3 times a day.
There's big ones?
Yeah, that's the big one.
There's a link in chat for you, Faris.
The YouTube? Or something else?
No. In the Zoom chat.
No. Yeah, there it is. That's the big one.
Yeah, I put it in the Twitch chat too.
Thanks,
that's the big one.
Yeah.
It's so big.
It's a little too big. Yeah, but it's just like, it's super memey. So every 777 years, they have to have a 7-year celebration with 777 Namazu present, or all the Namazu die.
They die of their clanspeople going to war with each other, and slaughtering each other mercilessly over fishing rights.
Yeah, it's literally a meme.
I will say this, because every time you rank up with them, they literally tell you exactly what the Namazu history is. I don't think I can forget it ever.
No, but it's just, I don't care. I just really don't. I don't care. Like, compared to like the Ixali in particular, I'd say the Ixali are probably the best. But compared to all of the other beast tribes, I just really don't care. It feels like it has no impact.
That's how I felt about the Amul Jah back in the day.
No,
it was like this. It was like
the
a
difference.
The Amul Jah for me was like a personal story for like one individual and their interaction with the Amul Jah, not the actual overarching Amul Jah. That's why I felt that way about it. The Namazu were trying to preserve their race.
The Amul Jah was like the first attempts by the Eazan Alliance to like reestablish
relations.
With the beast tribes, and it was compelling for that reason. Was this one? It's just like, I don't care if all the Namazu die.
It's comedic value.
I'd be okay with that. But it's the thing. It's just a meme. The whole quest is just a meme.
Yeah.
Their survival is not just a meme. They just have
survival is a meme.
They just have some very particular legends. Legends and stories and history, and they're all gonna die.
Yeah.
They don't want to die. They're established.
That's fine.
I think that I feel like aspects of the Namazu were slightly taken aback by what the Domin reconstruction ends up accomplishing in the first few weeks of the cutscenes we've seen there. Because there isn't much to go on there, but there's an actual, like, the Namazu you would have imagined would be similar to the Kojian in that of establishing trade groups and stuff. Namazu just, they want to throw a party.
I respect it.
And they'll die if they don't.
Yeah. It's all about preservation. Dude, imagine when we're done with this quest line, there's 777 Namazus there.
But there won't be. How can there possibly? There aren't 777 Namazus in the world.
There are, if you count all the ones I've killed and respawned in Yanjia.
Oh, yeah, I suppose. Oh, man, I
I've been enjoying them.
There are so few things in this game in terms of like story content where I just don't feel attached to at all, and this is one of them. Don't know why.
So then I want to propose a question to you then.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it goes without saying we will have allied Heaven's Word or Stormblood Beast Tribe quests.
Mm-hmm.
How do they fit into that?
How do the Namazu fit?
How do you think? Because if they're beast, it's all about the festival.
Mm-hmm.
Is it still all about the festival? Do we still have this? Do we have the same dude come back again for a third time and keep fucking with all the beast tribes?
Geez. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I don't know how they'd fit in. Honestly, I don't really care.
He's so defeated.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I never feel like this with content that we get. So I don't know what's up. Maybe I'm just.
But at least
old.
you're getting to level your crafters.
Well, I'm not. My crafters are all sub 60.
Well, then fucking.
I finished leveling up my fisherman.
Then fucking go level that shit. Go do the Moogle ones then, so you can get them to 60.
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Great. What about you guys? How do you feel about the Namazu?
I've never done any Beast Tribe quests, really. I started the Ixal. That's it. I can't be bothered to do it, man. I raid. I do content. I PvP. Explore, level new jobs. I can't do Beast Tribe quests.
No dailies, but you can level the jobs with Beast Tribe quests. Just think of all the storm sap.
I don't even know what that is.
It makes money.
Yeah,
it's the new glass. It's the new glass fiber, and that's the only real rooting interest for Namazu. Like, I don't give a fuck about the story. I just want my glass fibers and just to be done with it.
I love helping my little buddies. They're my little buddy, and the mount they give me is spectacular.
It's cool. It makes little squeaky noises. I saw the first one today.
Apparently, it has a big one on the top. It's like a shrine to the big one.
Yeah, it's a shrine to the big one. That's what it is. They give you a full history about, you know, what it is and its origins, and there's the Namazu. He travels in your bag, and then he comments about how you keep too much shit in your inventory. And then
that's great. I thought you had to be a crafter to do them. That's why I never.
You do.
Oh, okay.
No, crafter
or gatherer.
You can do either or. Yeah.
And then these dudes think that he's one Namazu, but he's actually a different Namazu. So they apologize. They show him how to make the shrines, and then you just fly with them anyway. So the fact they're holding the shrine has no relevance because they're just hanging on for dear life.
I think I'm just mad because I found out that the Namazu and I both worship the same god, and I like to take myself seriously. And they're like belittling my worship and my reverence of the big one.
Yeah.
That's probably it. If I had to put my finger on it.
So it's just jealousy.
No, it's not. It's not jealousy. It's like when someone makes political cartoons like of your religion, right?
Dude, I don't have an affiliation there, and even if I did, I just like to laugh at shit.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. You're laughing at my big one.
You just laughed at it.
No, I didn't.
I want to erase this conversation from existence.
This is worse than the samurai conversation.
Agreed.
All right. So Namazu.
So that's the Namazu.
So there's that.
Yeah.
And I guess with that, we can quickly hop. Oh no, Slyh, what'd you want to say?
No, I'm just saying this is gonna get edited out of the actual audio.
I could edit it out. That would not. Yeah. You know what? I've never done it before, but I'm not opposed to it suddenly.
No, leave the Sam conversation in because they actually had some weight to it. You know, there was meaning.
I mean this part right here.
Yeah,
not the whole show.
Namazu. Yeah, just
the Namazu part. I just want to wipe.
How about them primals?
The one.
Yeah,
the one. That's the main story. That's the last thing we want to talk about.
We can talk about the fight. We can talk about the fight itself.
Why don't we do it? At least do it in order. Talk about the main story, then the trial, then mention trial, extreme. There's a process here, gentlemen.
I was talking about Soraban.
Oh, well, he's not a primal. I'm kidding.
But he's going.
I wanted to just quickly touch Domain Reconstruction and then go to Four Lords, because Domain Reconstruction is similar in scope, I believe, to the Namazu.
Let's do it.
Domain Reconstruction, pretty much as we expected, is pretty much just sell shit to an NPC. But as you sell the shit, you get to see Doma get rebuilt, and certain relationships are built with the other areas. It's very reminiscent to the way the Kojins were rebuilding their trade routes with the other areas, except that the characters you get to witness in Doma, we're starting to see the scope of the characters that you'll see. So have both of you done both your weeks of Domain Reconstruction at this point?
I haven't started the Domain Reconstruction yet.
So all it is you basically vendor 20,000 gil worth of stuff to them. Clear demi-materia is an easy one to do, or Imperial pieces, or anything. You just vendor shit to them, and you get cutscenes that slowly rebuild a map of Doma, pretty much. And you can see basically you start to get cutscenes of foreign trade partners coming in and offering them these services, and then you see that area grow, and then once you've done one area, they move you to another area to work on that part. And we're seeing the different NPCs from the different parts of Hingashi and the Azim Steppe and people like that coming in and establishing these trade routes with Doma themselves. There's a guy from I believe it's Armor or Blacksmith questline. You wouldn't know him if you didn't do it, but he's over in Kugane. He comes in and he's having a fight with another NPC that's new, and there's this constant, I guess, almost like it actually is a city coming alive. In a sense, it's just coming alive at a pace that I think is a little too slow. Because it's weekly. Okay. You can only do these things weekly. So as you hand in the stuff, you get a cutscene. They say, hey, we're starting to build this. We have a market now. We have steamed buns. We have a bar. We have alcohol. Now we need to work on this thing next.
Okay.
And there's some comedic value mixed. It's a slow process, but it's starting off pretty well, at least so far from what I see.
Honestly, don't think it's too slow. I think it's paced just right. The reconstruction, it's not like, again, it's going to take a while, so naturally I'm thinking maybe 4.5, maybe we'll see something come to fruition. Yeah, I wouldn't give it one patch, maybe 2 patches before we see it.
So with the achievements, I noticed the achievements only go up to the 2nd expansion, and I believe there's 8 or so different areas in the Doman Enclave, so we'd have to believe that the different expansions come over time to the different areas. But I mean, it's easy way to make stuff worth more gil, and the hand-ins are simple enough. It's basically it's vendoring stuff and getting a story for vendoring stuff.
Is there any waifus in Doma?
Yeah, there's a few, depending on what kind of waifus you're into. No, I mean,
like top heavy ones.
Nah, bro, you're gonna have to go to Ritterana for that one. Like, nah, the best waifu is in Ritterana, or on the
Sly's an expert.
I'm an expert, but I'm not taking any more waifus because this game has a fucking tendency to kill my fucking waifus. So
well, I'll take some for you.
Please go ahead.
Share them around.
Please.
Don't worry, you get to kill Garuda again soon.
Yay.
Maybe one day we'll get to kill a sail again. Who knows? Moonbreeda too. Who the fuck? They don't even care about her anymore. She's been irrelevant for a while now.
Oh no, that's not fair. Orion J references Moonbreeda all the time.
How often do we see Orion J?
You know, once every patch or so.
This last patch was all when the moon don't fall, and that's talking about Moonbreeda, right?
No, I think he was just talking about the moon.
Shit.
Oh. I never
geez.
understand what that guy's saying. My bad.
To be fair, I feel like a lot of the characters in the game don't quite understand what Orion J is. They're like, Orion J, just English. Come on.
English.
Yeah, I want a cutscene one day where he says some wizard talk, as me and my buddies call it, and everybody is just double question mark over their head. Like they all look at each other, and it's like cute little sound effects, like bling, 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 bling.
I feel like there is at least a cutscene that resembles that, where he says a bunch of shit and they go, huh?
Yeah, that's happened a couple of times.
Yeah.
That's great.
He's just like, this. There you go. All right, thank you. Was that so hard? The Namazu do that once. This one guy's giving a huge explanation. He's like, explain it to me again. 3 sentences or less. It's like, see, that wasn't so hard. That was funny.
Happens in the Prima Vista as well with the new
recurring joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, the new what's her face? The Aura.
I'll wash your face,
There you
Mikoto. Yeah, and Sid's like, can you try to explain that in a way that someone with the echo without the echo wouldn't understand?
And then she tries again. She's like, one more time.
Yeah.
Fucking nerd. All right. But I'd highly recommend doing the domain. It's so low effort. Just go and do it. Besides, the prerequisites to do it are the interesting quest, the children, the domain refugees, and in Mort Dona, and there's some other quests tied to it as well from patch 4.2. So I'd recommend, from a story perspective, it's one of those side quests that's fairly worth doing to watch the Enclave grow. And hopefully the Enclave grows and actually has vendors and stuff in a market board eventually. I'd fingers crossed that one at the very least, if you make it far enough. All right. So Domain Enclave, done. We can move to Four Lords next, which I think, despite not having a trial, I was very happy with the Four Lords. From both a story progression standpoint and a comedic standpoint, and everyone knows what I'm talking about with the comedy.
Yes.
So all right, I've been talking a lot. Why don't we get to Sly? What did you think about the Four Lords quest line? Give us some thoughts here.
The quest itself, it's good to find out more about the auspices. The trial,
the solo instance, I suppose we'll call it.
Yeah, we'll call it that. Sure. I'm starting to believe that, people are right and that Lalafels are just a bunch of evil fucking dicks and
or incompetent.
You just getting this now, are you?
Yeah, like I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to be that guy. Lalafels are fine, but no, fuck them. Kiss my ass. Call me on Christmas.
I thought Tataru was evil the whole time, man. This quest.
That's been a theory for a long time that Tataru is actually evil.
This quest more did the opposite for me. I was like, oh no, she's not evil. She's just a fucking idiot.
So somebody in the chat brings up a really good point. The whole reason why the player can see AoE markers is supposed to be because we have the echo, right?
Yeah, it's because we got the echo.
Tataru doesn't have it. So she just runs around and hopes she doesn't get hit by shit.
No, she runs to you.
Well, she's scared. All right, so let's start from the top of the Four Lords. So the whole point of the Four Lords storyline is we're not yet ready for Seiryu and Suzaku. It's not time for that yet. But he wants to turn Soroban into, or at least grant him access to the powers of an auspice. He's been training since the start of the questline in 4.2, so a patch now. And he wants to accelerate the process by using geomancy, of all things. Specifically a box located in the Swallow's Compass that when you breathe in the smoke inside, it will rapidly age you. So he wants to age Soroban to 1,000 years, or, in that range, and have him become an auspice for a short time to understand the power and to gauge his actual sense of power. I didn't think they were going to go that in depth as to why Soroban in the trailers had accessed his Aramitama, but it was quite elaborate from Genbu. He's quite the storyteller with this one.
Yeah, they had a reason for everything we were doing. It felt legitimate. I was drawn into the storyline. I thought it was really good, right up there with the MSQ. Not as good as that, but right alongside it. I felt like it felt right in place.
Well, I feel like as a side story quest, it's developing in such a way that I enjoy following it to the same degree I enjoy following the MSQ. So I'll give you that at the very least. Ethys?
Yeah. What I found interesting here was the fact that we've already established that auspices are basically animals. They get to a point where they're 1,000 years old. They start to, become divine. They have, they're basically exposed to this crystal of light, and it gives them these superpowers or whatever. Soroban is not an animal. Soroban's a person. Like, categorically, he's a spoken, so he's the same as like an Elizon or a Hero. I just think it's interesting that either the Kojin are like not spoken and they're actually animals, or else people can become auspices as well.
Yeah.
Which is really strange.
Well, I suppose if an auspice is granted power by being in proximity to a crystal of light, then it stands to reason that other beings could probably do the same.
No, they have to count as animals though, because he was saying that the box would have killed Tataru.
Well, I think it's because
she doesn't have the like latent capacity that that Soroban does.
Yeah, and another big thing is the life expectancy of a spoken of a normal of the enlightened spoken, I guess, of the enlightened.
Oh, you know,
races.
that's probably it. It's probably the fact that Kojin just lived for a lot.
Very long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say that even real turtles live a long time, so that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, regular turtles live
but
to
they're
be
not
like
real
what?
turtles. It's not even a real shell. It's a backpack thing.
They're turtles.
It's not a real shell.
No, it's not a real shell.
I mean, it is a real shell.
It's a real shell, but it's not. They're not born with it.
It's not attached to them.
It's not attached to them. No,
I got debated. I thought they were real.
No.
Then they've served their purpose.
Isn't there NPCs in Turtle Town, the underwater one, where they're they're
polishing a shell.
They're polishing the shell. Yeah.
They're like, this was this homie's shell. We hang it to.
He wore it. It'd be like, I have this Steel Series backpack. It'd be like if something happened to me if you were just sitting in a corner.
So if Mike died, then his spirit would obviously inhabit his Steel Series backpack, and then we'd want to keep it all like nice and clean and polished.
No, we wouldn't.
No, we wouldn't. Just pour my ashes in there.
If his spirit is possessing it, then of course we'd want to keep it nice and tidy, right?
I got you baited.
That's what's going on with that.
Yeah. But either way, they're turtle people. Like, shells being theirs or not, they're still turtle people.
Yeah, they're people.
Turtle people.
Yeah,
they're still classified as spoken, right?
Yeah.
They're classified as spoken, but they live to be old as fuck. They can live to be over 1,000 years. Much.
Right. So I think that's interesting, is that we've established that the aroma chimichanga is something that no one. No
chimichanga. That's for Lakshmi. That's for Lakshmi. Lakshmi's the chimichanga primal.
So we've established that it's not something that's unique to non-spoken creatures. That. The spoken habit as well, and that makes me think that it's probably the same thing as the inner beast, as the darkness, as all those other like metonyms that we use for this sort of power that we have within us that sort of grows out of control and kind of takes over our you sort of see red, and that sort of typical metonym, right, that we have with the warriors and the dark knights. It's the same sort of thing.
Yeah, because the Warriors and the Dark Knights it's already two sides of the same coin. So this is just a third side.
So this is another like Far Eastern way of describing the inner beast, effectively.
Yeah,
which is cool.
And it specifically references in beings that can survive a certain length of time and obtain a certain and have this latent power as is described. It's less of I forget the way that the inner beast is technically achieved, in terms of within the lifespan of the warrior themselves, since they don't live to be way old. But it is essentially the same thing. And I think that's kind of the glue that's holding together this entire thing. The whole idea is that we're trapping this. We have this being trapped whose Arimatama completely took over, and he was a massive threat. And the Arimatama is the constant recurring theme of the Auspices and their greatest fear. So to see it manifest in another being is I guess kind of solidifies the importance of keeping it under check, of like what it actually does to the beings themselves and the destructive impact that it has. So I think that's what's keeping me interested in the Four Lord story, is actually getting to see this threat that isn't just a generic primal threat kind of surface and become more prevalent. If Curious Gorge has access to the inner beast, it's not that special.
Shots fired, man.
I love Curious Gorge.
I do too.
He's a good bloke.
Yeah, he's cool.
And he fell in love finally. I'm so proud of him.
Little Al-Ra girl.
Yeah, there you go. She's got the inner beast, so she'll be all right.
She will soon.
She will soon. Just can't get away from it, can we? Huh?
No. Shit.
Oh my. No. Oh my, yes indeed.
Oh my.
There you go. All right.
Whoa, hey, plot twist before we move on. You think Tenzin could have the Arimatama and live a super long time too?
Well, no, so he gave his life specifically to trap Koryu.
Wait, we already know that?
Yeah, we knew that already.
Dead. Yes. Yeah, we knew that.
Yeah, Tenzin's dead as dicks.
For sure dead.
For sure dead.
Yeah.
I mean, to be sure, like, if it didn't happen on screen, it didn't happen, right, Ethys?
No, he's dead.
Fuck you.
Look, okay, so the Tenzin thing, that was like over 1,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he is not in theory, he's not, you know, an auspice. He's not capable of becoming an auspice. He's the one who made auspices possible, or at least created the auspices in a sense from his sheer presence. Look, or at least the four lords, more specifically. His
crystal of light is interred in that sanctum. That's why they all live in that sanctum together, because Tenzin's crystal of light is there and they hang out around it and sort of mooch off it. Tenzin's not going to give up his fucking crystal of light if he's not dead as dicks. I'm just saying. Like, if someone came up to you as the warrior of light and was like, yo, I need your echo, I need your crystals of light, like, come on, hand them over. I'd be like, over my dead fucking body, let's go.
Yeah. Okay.
Over my dead body. Well, that's exactly what happened. Yeah, he's I wouldn't be surprised if in some way in the story later, the fact that his crystal of light is there, there's a high chance that any amount of his anima or his ether could manifest in some way. But if it is happening, that's the crystal of light's last go. Like, that's the crystal of light going, bottom line. Like, it will be gone after that. So that wouldn't surprise me. But him being alive, no. He's dead as dick. Sorry, not he died before the samurai buffs. So he's gone. He didn't get to live to see
Didn't even get his 2%, man.
Didn't even get his 2%. Tenzin didn't even get his 2%. Unfortunate.
That's the real tragedy here.
It is really a tragedy.
He would have put it to work.
Yeah, maybe he wouldn't have died.
Yeah, and we get to see how he would have put it to work. Like, he even Byakko was apparently his first companion, is something that we learn of the four lords. And him and Byakko travel around communicating with, you know, he communicates with Genbu before he actually has the ability to speak, but he's intelligent enough to know, to be able to use his latent powers, pretty much. We'd have to assume that he's probably, I think he says how old he is. I think he says he's like 500 or something at the time when he runs into the village that's going to suffer from a volcano eruption.
Yeah. No, he says he was about 100.
Oh, he's only about 100? Okay, I thought, okay. Regardless, he starts to develop that. And then he starts to have these powers, but he can only communicate with someone with the echo at that point. And Tenzin uses that and fights Byakko just to get people nervous and get them the fuck out. Seems like a cool dude. They're doing Tenzin some justice here. He was a royal prick in Final Fantasy XI for the most part.
I thought he was cool, but he was a prick.
He was literally like, oh, well, bad things happen. Well, I guess I'll just listen to the sword. What do I do, sword? Oh, the sword doesn't have a flame anymore. Oh, I guess I'm an asshole then.
I'd listen to that sword too, though, in his defense.
I misspoke. He starts to have his visions when he's 100, and he goes through like at least a couple of centuries of not being able to do anything before he meets with Tenzin.
Yeah, and then that.
So you're probably right. He's probably about 500 or 600.
That's crazy. So small at 500. You'd think he'd grow tiny. A little more.
No, but the other auspices have been around for far longer.
Yeah, he's the same size now.
Exactly. Yeah. Why doesn't he just grow? He can when he wants to be fair, but
exactly.
You know. But I don't think that's his natural form. Then again, Byakko's natural form makes a little bit more sense. He's a big ass tiger. He just it's so menacing compared to the rest of them. Like, he looks like a four lord. Genbu is like, that's it? What? That's it?
Fucking
turtle. What do you want? He's a turtle.
He's not like a sea turtle or anything. He's just a regular turtle.
He wants him to be in his big Genbu form.
Yeah, he just should always be in his. He should just always be Gen Daddy or Genbuff. Genbig.
Gainsboo.
There you go, Gainsboo.
Gainsboo.
That was the name we had for him when we saw Byakko and we saw how buff he was. It's like, just you got Buff Byakko, Gainsboo.
Yeah.
All the good ones. All right, so how are we? I want to get predictions. There's nothing to tell us which one it'll be, so consider this completely blind. Suzaku or Seiryu or both for 4.4.
Seiryu. It's not going to be both. I can guarantee you it's not going to be both.
Fahros?
I don't know. Man, I barely remember those. Seiryu's the bird. It's the rock.
Seiryu's
the dragon.
Seiryu's a serpent.
Seiryu's a dragon.
Yeah. And Suzaku's
the firebird, yeah.
I think we're getting the bird next.
Yeah, I reckon bird.
Bird? I'm still holding out for the 2-for-1.
Okay.
I'm still holding out for
because we need to fight Koryu, and if we're only going to 3.5, then we need
4.5. I don't know why this expansion. No, I've done that so much this expansion. It never happened to me in Heaven's Word, but in Stormblood, I keep saying shit like 3.5, 3. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Are we really only going to
We can't count to 4.
We don't know that we're only going to 4.5.
Right, we don't know.
We don't know that.
That's the thing. It's like if we are, then
you got to do a double.
There's also the possibility. There is also the possibility for a dungeon boss, but I feel like with the way they're building up Seiryu and Suzaku, that would be pretty underwhelming at that point. Yeah.
But we also we do have to face a possibility that we get a 4.6 and 4.7.
It'd be cool. I mean, I already like that the Four Lords aren't technically primals. That shook things up a little bit. So fighting two at once would be pretty bad. It's like, wow, after the way I saw you handle Soroban, I think you can do both at once. Warrior of Light would be like,
that would be pretty interesting. Yeah.
Warrior of Light would just be like, what?
Wait, what?
I don't.
What, mate?
Will Byakko help? No.
Come on, bro.
No. He's okay. See you.
No, just.
Yeah, so that's the one that I think we brought this up last time, is if they're going counterclockwise from the, because each of them have a direction affiliated. Genbu's the north, Byakko's the west, Suzaku's the south. If they're just going around in a circle, then that would lead to Suzaku next. But who knows? They don't have, then who knows if there's actually a rhyme or reason to it. It's a 50-50 chance of being between the two if it's only one.
Yeah.
And seeing that we're talking about the Four Lords, we never really talked about the Swallow's Compass, the new dungeon. What did y'all think of it?
That is a great dungeon.
Great.
It's a great dungeon.
It's really fun.
I love it. I love the music. I thought that was fantastic. I like the last boss. I had a blast. I just ran it again today.
I've run it quite a few times. Not even for tomes. Like, I'm doing desynthesis in there, and some other people have wanted glamour. On top of that, I was still doing ultimate coil a little bit over the past few weeks, so the 345 gear in there was the perfect item level for ultimate coil.
Oh.
Since it's as high of an item level as you can reach before the item level sync fucks your materia over.
Yeah,
so,
some of it's best in slot, eh?
Yeah, so a lot of it's best in slot for unending coil specifically. Not worthless for Uwu next week, but good for the old stuff. And I don't know, this kind of throws a whole loop, a whole wrench in the what's the phrase? A wrench in the throws a wrench in the. I don't remember the phrase. It's been a while.
In the works.
It throws a wrench in the works. There you go. Of what people could perceive geomancy is in Final Fantasy 14. Up to this point, the Astro quest line just kind of leads you to believe it's an Eastern version of Conjury. Not even astrology, Conjury. It's in the Astro quest line, but it's Conjury. And this kind of,
well, it's Conjury. It's described as analogous to Conjury insofar as you are drawing ambient ether from the earth.
Yeah.
And it's described as analogous to Astro insofar as the Earth is a star, and rather than drawing power from other stars like Astro, we're drawing power from our own star. That's what geomancy is about. And this is consistent with it, but it gives, it shows that it presents in different ways to either Conjury or astrology as we use it.
But it shows sort of a different side to it. It no longer just appears to be just those two things. It kind of takes it finally takes its own form in patch 4.3, something that feels very distinct and separate from the other practices. So that, of course, that leads to discussions about new jobs in 5.0.
I've heard a lot of people saying, oh, well, it's self-evident now, like Geomancer confirmed for 5.0. I'm saying, well, I don't know. Like we've had so many other job mentions. We've had, Puppet Master exists in the game's lore. There's there are a couple of name drops. This is just this patch of Arithmetician, of
all the Final Fantasy Tactics jobs and the
Tactics jobs
what was the other one? The Spear Tank.
Chat will help you in a second.
Templar. That's right. Yeah, Templar. So
Dramaturgist.
If Dramaturgist is a combat job, I will laugh my ass off. That'd be amazing. That'd be hilarious. So Geomancer might be like more well realized than some of the other ones, but I don't want people to think that it's like it's self-evident that it's going to be in the next expansion.
Still holding out for time
over what people have been.
Stop!
Begging.
There's no time. Astro is a time mage.
No.
Well, Astro uses time magic, kind of, a little bit, but it's not a time mage.
Yeah,
it's fucking time mage.
No, it's
not.
It's
not.
our time mage.
Yeah, probably. It is probably our time mage, but there does exist in the lore like a full-fledged time mage. Look, I still think, and I still hope that what we're going to be getting next expansion will be Blue Mage and Dancer, because that's what people want. But we do have to entertain the possibility that they're developing Geomancer.
I think we're getting a Gunblade class before we get anything else.
That'll be Machinist.
No, dude, they can't do that after all this.
They can and they will.
No, we're gonna see a Gunblade class, man. Every Empire troop we see has a specific Gunblade. There's specific animations.
Yep. And there's a job whose whole identity is about using Magitech and, like, you know, developing stuff created by the Garlands and sort of adapting it for our own use. And it's Machinist.
He really doesn't want you to have a good time for
us. It's already covered. It's Machinist.
The problem is
give him a couple of melee abilities.
The problem is I see his point of view when he throws it down like that, but
it's kind of hard not to.
Seen too many for it to be Machinist. We're gonna go wherever we're gonna go in 5.0, and you know
Machinist literally has gunblades. There's so many, like, Machinist main hand glamours that are gunblades.
Really?
Yeah. It's like half a dozen of them. Shit.
Damn.
They don't use them like gunblades, though.
No, they don't. But they are guns with blades on them.
It would be pretty hype if they got some new skills in 5.0, like gunblade skills.
That's what I'm saying. So if we can just take a tangent for like 2 minutes. Okay. Machinist moving into Ilzabad would be all about, like, all right, we're going to meet some Garlands, we're going to learn more about Magitech, and we're going to, like, take what we learn and sort of put that into the job, because Machinist is this new job that we're sort of making up as we go along, basically, in terms of lore. So we're going to pick up new skills and we're going to integrate them into the job, and the job's going to see changes sort of based on that, and it's going to.
All right, well, that's your prediction. You're locking it in.
I like that.
Fine.
So Galbadian 5.0?
Galbadian. Shut your mouth. All right. I mean, don't get me wrong. I guarantee you it exists in Ilsabard, but I'm just saying you shut your mouth. All right.
I mean, we're entertaining the thought, so you might as well put 2 and 2 together, sure.
We were entertaining the thought of geomancy. This took a whole nother turn. It's like they even had bells, which was the predicted weapon for geomancy. That's their go-to weapon is bells.
Seems that way.
Yeah.
Although that makes sense given that Ganon, the first geomancer and the first king of Doma, made bells for the Namazu, right? That's already like a salient thing.
Yeah. I just think geomancy's been pretty well woven, like, into all the different parts. We haven't seen it much till this patch, but the more they mention geomancy, the more, like, integral it seems to kind of the development of the area. Whereas before it was just this thing was mentioned by name and used for a few Astro quests. So I hope they continue. I can't wait to read more about it in the next Eorzean encyclopedia, which they'll do one day maybe. Please.
Well, it wouldn't be an Eorzean encyclopedia, would it?
Yeah, would they rename it? They rename it to the
Encyclopedia Othard. Encyclopedia Othardia.
You know, I wonder if that would make it easier for them to... I mean, the Eorzean encyclopedia already has information on the other parts of the world.
Only a little bit.
Only a little bit. Yeah, there you go.
And that's the point of the Encyclopedia Eorzea is that it's written by Eorzeans. If we got an Othardian encyclopedia,
so then do a Hydaelyn encyclopedia where it's written by Hydaelyn. It's written by Minfilia.
Oh my god, could you? Oh no, that would be infuriating. Could you imagine reading a whole book from the perspective of Minfilia?
There'd be a lot of Link Pearl references in there.
I love Minfilia, but that would be really tedious.
I'd have to go back to the Waking Sands every time I want to read it, so probably wouldn't be that great. That's another character I haven't seen in a while. We'll see her eventually again.
Yeah, we will.
They really wanted to get rid of her. They were like, oh, everyone hates her. Just send her off. All right. So we have Swallow's Compass. We have Four Lords. The next would be the 24-man on the list. And I see why they hyped it up. Because outside of one incredibly stupid fucking quest that has some comedic value and is a teaser or is an Easter egg towards a certain somebody on the development team, most likely, I was impressed for the most part, other than this one sidetrack quest to delay me unlocking the 24-man.
I didn't mind it. We got to spend time with Shamani Lamani. We got to learn a little bit more about Evilisian lore. I thought it was all right.
I also got to relive level 29 to 32 main story quests for the first time in 4 years.
Yeah, it wasn't quite that long, was it?
No, but it was very much the exact same back and forth that I was used to all those years ago.
That's true.
Yeah. So how did we feel? Let's get overalls before we kind of go down the path here and kind of figure out what exactly happened. Slyh, what was your thoughts?
Overall story?
Yeah.
Impressed. Highly impressed. Makes me question if tactics is kind of retconned into 14. Sort of.
We already know this Evilise is not the Evilise. This is 14's version of Evilise. This is not Evilise and Hydaelyn existing in the same
Matsuno literally tweeted out that they're not the same, that it's not a sequel, and that anyone who thinks so, I can't remember what the exact term he used, but it was synonymous with moron.
But they are interlinking them, though. They are.
Yeah, they're referenced.
No,
they're
but what we
not the
saw
same timeline.
That's
not the same timeline.
Okay, let me just say this. According to history, Rassler and Ash are brother and sister, so that fucking ruins everything in Final Fantasy 12.
Yeah.
So
also,
there's no way that could happen.
Final Fantasy 12 comes before Tactics. Tactics is set a long time after Final Fantasy 12. And yet all of the ruins of the Tactics cities are buried beneath the Final Fantasy 12 ones. They're literally flipped.
Yeah.
Okay, so all that aside, you don't think that was Ramza's spirit in the crystal at the end? That when he touched
but it was 14's Ramza's.
It was 14's Ramza.
Yeah, it was the original, what the legend says. That's OG Ramza in Ramza. We'll definitely get to talking about that later. Yeah. But, this is not that Evilise. This is Matsuno's original Evilisian creation for Hydaelyn.
Yeah, Matsuno and Yoshida have both had to say that so many times. It's not the same fucking Evilise. It's not a sequel.
You know what set this off, though, Ethys? The first time someone asked, they said, we'll allow you to interpret it however.
And that was so dumb, because it's like, well, what do you think?
What are you saying then? So there was a 14 Ramza that had his own story and his own world, and that happened.
Yeah,
and it's completely unrelated to Tactics.
It's completely unrelated.
But
they are really tiptoeing over this line.
That happened.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like how Costa del Sol exists over in Lenosha, but that's not.
It's the same way that we have Bahamut and Ifrit and Shiva, and you know what? They're completely different from the ones in the other Final Fantasy games.
Rams is very specific, though. He's a man.
Rams is very specific, but you know, Bahamut's very specific.
Bahamut was the Dragon King from Final Fantasy 1 who granted you your advanced jobs.
Crystal Tower, exactly. Crystal Tower, like that's pretty fucking specific. Like, it's what this game does. It's like literally everything else in this game.
Right, but what my whole thing was, I was saying that Ramza at the end of the quest line looked and talked a lot like Ramza.
Well, that's because that's the Ramza legend. That's because our Ramza's a prick.
It's almost like Final Fantasy 14's Ramza is based on.
Yeah, it's a reference. That's all it is. It's just a reference.
So they're not. You don't think they're linking?
They're not linked in any way, and it's been stated by Matsuno that they're not.
It's been stated, but they're really tiptoeing this line. Like they are.
There's no tiptoeing it. They straight up said the line doesn't. The line exists. There's no tiptoeing it.
I
There's
think
one
it's
on
the multiverse theory stuff where there's all these
No.
different
Well,
things going on at the same
don't
time.
you get me
Maybe
started.
somehow they
Don't.
cross and interlink.
Don't
That's
you
what
get
I got from
fucking
it.
started on the Final Fantasy multiverse theory.
That's the impression they give you.
No, I'm not going down that road today because I can ramble about this for an hour and nobody wants to see that.
Me and you will talk
No,
after.
I think they do.
All right, good.
I think they do. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, you said the M word. No, I'm not going to do it. Don't make me do it, Slime.
Is there an infinite number
bad
of
idea.
universes simultaneously existing?
Mm-mm.
It's like a rug.
Mm-mm.
Hell yeah, and we're
I don't
all
even- I don't even
interlinked a
watch
little bit by
Doctor
these
Who,
things
and I
called
still know that.
crystals.
Mm-mm.
There you
Come
go.
on.
That's the Ramza I knew, dude. I could see it in his eye.
All we know is that the normal void in Final Fantasy is their excuse for connecting certain things.
Yeah,
And
and that
that-
void is not something that we have. Our
And that
is-
void is actually straight up something that void probably does exist since Shantoto can travel between dimensions, but it's more of a dimensional thing and less of a...
Shantoto is not canon in Final Fantasy 14. Koji's made this clear, is that the Final Fantasy 11 crossovers, the Lightning Returns crossovers, the Dragon Quest 10 crossover, all of those, they're not canon.
Yeah, they just needed some
Shantoto,
excuse.
Final Fantasy 11's Shantoto has never canonically been in Final Fantasy 14 or in Eorzea
There
or
you go.
Hydaelyn.
There you go.
It's not a thing.
Only person I'll accept is Gilgamesh. Then he's the
Yep.
only one. That
He's just
motherfucker-
he's just come from another fucking shard or something.
Yeah, he's an asshole. So he just does whatever he wants. What you've seen isn't real. It's an event. That's why we don't really do them anymore, because people just freak the fuck. That's why 15 still hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
All right,
Okay,
back
so
on
we-
track. So Evilise.
Back on track. Evilise. So we've kind of digested the fucking lore,
Mhm.
basically. The dungeon itself, the 24-man itself. What did you think?
It's the best one. I just do it over and over again for fun.
Yeah, I do it for memes. Like the bosses were pretty simple, really fun mechanics. You know, you get not every day you get to do math, and people can't do math. And here's the ironic part: the game actually gives you, if you stop and read, the game will actually give you answers.
The game refreshes you what prime numbers are. It's like, all right, you
Yeah,
dumb
exactly.
motherfuckers haven't been in school in a while. Let me show you.
Yeah.
And you know, like
That
people don't
scroll
like
right
reading.
before the boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Prime numbers. And then people still get it wrong. Like, did you read? No, I just got here. Yeah, people don't know math.
I actually stopped and read those immediately because I was like, oh, I want to see what the I stopped and read all the interactions the first time through.
Mhm.
Me too.
Because in the last one, I always made 8-man, so I never got to go down the path that has the couple of interactions. Because this one's all one path. Because when you make 8-man pre-mades, you almost always get Alliance A, because it just filters your 8 into the first slot of the full 24-man. I haven't been Alliance B or C in either of the 24-mans of Stormblood ever.
Oh.
So whenever they do the splitting path things, if there's lore on one, I never get to read them. So I stopped and read all of them. So when I stopped and read the one that was explaining prime numbers, I was like, I'm gonna need.
Oh, here we go.
I'm gonna need to know this, aren't I?
Yeah.
I will say so. Let's slow down a little bit. All right, we jumped
Okay.
from what does Slyh think about the 24 to about the story to
I was excited.
Construct 7's mechanics. We
It
made
was
a
my
pretty
fault.
we made a pretty big leap there. So let's back up a little bit. Fahros, now that you know they're not the same thing, how do you feel about all that?
Oh,
I'm gonna not comment on it, and I'm just gonna say that. Are you asking me about the story again, or are you asking me about the raid?
I ask you how you
The
feel
ring.
about the story, about the
okay.
telling, about how it's unfolded thus far. You know, does it interest you? Is it something you look forward to exploring more of?
I got my own theories of what's going on. So, the first story I was super disappointed with, and what happened right at the end of this one gave me hope that the third tail end of it is going to get super, super interesting, and my mind's going to be blown. So whether that happens or not, as of right now, I'm super excited.
Now, is that with everything you've learned or without everything you've learned?
Man, just because 3 guys tell me something on a podcast don't mean I learned nothing.
But one of them's Ethys, so when it's him, I usually trust it.
Oh, yay.
If I say something, totally get it. But when Ethys says something, I pay attention. He needs the robe and the long white beard.
No, that's all right. It's okay. We'll see. We'll find out.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Dude, I'm stoked. They gave me hope because this whole time I was like, Ramza, quit being such a little bitch. And then
he was
being a real bitch.
Yeah, he's a pretty. Even all the other characters are like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, like, dude, chill.
His dad is like, why do I have this shitty son?
Yeah.
Why?
And I like how Ramza even looks at his dad sometimes, like, right, dad? And he's like, no, bitch. Like I taught you better than this.
His dad, he's like, okay. All right. There you go.
I'm stoked.
All right. Ethys. Story thoughts.
I'm excited. It was good. I like that it's filled in a lot of Garland lore for us. So the Ivalicean legends exists in the culture of Garlemald, which is, you know, a culture that currently exists to the far, far north of Ilzabad, like so far away from where Ivalice is geographically. And Ramza has this theory, basically, that survivors of Ivalice founded Galg, and then survivors of Galg ended up becoming the Garlands, basically, which I think is a pretty compelling theory. So it means that the lighthouse was built by Garlemald's progenitors, and you can kind of see that a little bit when you see all the clockwork, you see all of the you know, like Construct 7, for instance, looks like a more, I guess, like less sophisticated, like Iron Giant or whatever.
Yeah.
So I found that pretty compelling, and I really did like the way that they're sort of tying in, I guess, like the classical points about Ivalice, the sort of main sort of dot points about Ivalice as it exists in Tactics and 12, and really kind of embedding it and tying it in with 14's lore. I really appreciate it, because I was so worried, obviously, way back when they announced this, that it was going to feel kind of, you know, taped on or contrived, and they've been putting a lot of work into making it feel seamless.
More importantly, it's not Allegan.
No, it's not
it's an advanced civilized race that is not Allegan from a time lost. They said 1,000 years ago they think Ivalice is when it existed. Is that the time frame?
Ravenasta, so Dalmasca was 1,000 years old.
Okay.
So Ivalice probably would have been founded 2,000, maybe 3,000 years ago.
Sometime after the fall of the Allegans, pretty much. It's still possible there's ties there between Garlemald and Allag to some degree, but
totally.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, Allag conquered the whole world, so everything that came after Allag was survivors from Allag, right? Mm-hmm. So that's sort of a moot point. But yes, I do like that we're building, you know, a sort of backstory and some history that is not like necessarily tied to Allag, because we've been seeing Allag, you know, everywhere for the last like 4 years, basically. All
the years.
Well, for the last like 8 years, you know, if we go back to 1.0,
we didn't have too much Allegan. Like most of the Allegan stuff was unearthed during the Calamity, but like it was there before, but it was far less pronounced as after.
Yeah. Totally. Yeah. So I like that this is sort of filling in the gaps for us a little bit. I like that it's giving us, you know, it's fitting in Gabranth being the legatus of the 4th Legion, having conquered Dalmasca 30 years ago, and then Livia showing up. We know that there are a lot of like rebellions in Dalmasca over the last couple of decades, and that was where Livia sort of earned her stripes, was the 14th Legion being deployed there, presumably not long before 1.0. So I just really like they're filling in a lot of little gaps here and there, which was really nice.
It doesn't feel like some of the events we mentioned prior. In other words, like the Shantoto and Lightning and stuff like that, where it's literally tacked on and not meant to be taken seriously in the scope of our world. This is meant to be 100% integrated and 100% tied to the history of the world.
So then we did also have the, I suppose we have to come to this sooner or later, the name drop of the Sikh, the Banga, and the Viera.
Yes.
All living in Dalmasca. And again, so many people are like, oh my God, we're going to have playable Viera. It's like, why not playable Banga? Why not playable Sikh? Why do we
want them as much?
Yeah, but that's the thing. Why do we assume, like, out of all the beast races, because that's what they are, that we'd have Viera as playable?
None of them are.
They seem the more human, I guess, quote unquote.
They have built-in high heels and ears.
How are they more human than, like, if you took a mask and a shell off the Khujan?
Yeah, they wear masks and shells, and then they just look like...
Yeah, underneath the mask and shells, they probably just look like scaly humans. Right? I'm just saying, like, why Viera over everything else? Why is that self-evident? And I just don't think it is. I don't think we're going to get playable Viera. Or if we do, I don't think it's self-evident.
I agree that I don't think we're going to get it, but I think it's just, like I said, I
know why people want it.
Of course.
I know why people want
it. Because they're filthy.
It just seems out of the other, beast, they seem more customizable. So
yeah.
I've never heard someone describe a Viera as customizable, but I'll keep it in mind in the future.
But, like, look at the Banga that we've seen so far. Like, they all look very distinct. Like, we look at, like, the Amoljar and the Khujan and, like, most other beast races we have, they all look very sort of homogenous, whereas these Banga all have, like, they've got different hairstyles, they've got different colored skin, they've got, different body types. It's like, why not playable Banga?
Because helmets.
I'd rather have I'd rather have a playable Banga than a playable Viera, because Banga's actually, like, really different from anything we have, whereas Viera is just like a budget Miqo'te.
I've been saying Lupine.
A cat and a bunny are not the same thing. What do you mean? Wait, the bunny people came before. Well, they didn't come before Mithra, but they came before Miqo'te.
Yeah, I'm just saying that they're Alizen with bunny ears. Okay. You can already do that.
You can. Now even on male characters, don't forget.
Yeah, you can already do that. In the same way that you can have a Hure with wolf ears, and that's all the fucking Lupin is.
Okay, the Lupin's a little more than wolf ears. All right, it's a little.
It's literally a Hure in a fursuit.
Does it bother anybody else that every single Lupin seems to look exactly the same?
They do look exactly the same.
Racist.
They literally, it's a Hure skeleton in a fursuit, and they're all wearing the same fursuit.
Exactly the same.
Yeah, there's no such thing as Lupins. They're just a bunch of furries that, like, live together, and the Domans have just sort of said, you know what, fine, you guys can call yourselves whatever you want. That's cool. We're cool with that. We'll go along with it. We'll pretend that you really are.
It would actually make sense if all the suits are mass produced. That's why they look like that.
Exactly. Yeah.
I can't wait for that part of the Doman Enclave quest.
Yeah, you start seeing Lupin suits show up. Hey, we expanded our markets, and you see a suit and, like, all the different pieces, and you just think,
yeah. I'm gonna need to rescind my statement that when Ethys says that I usually listen. I'm gonna need to rescind that statement.
Well, you do though, don't you?
Yeah, I can't trust anything you say anymore. There's only one thing I'm allowed to trust you on, and that's expired this patch. So I don't need to listen to you anymore because I agree. All right. Yeah. Ivalice, I see why they hyped it up in terms of the story impact and the budget that went into it and Matsuno's overall vision. And I have to wonder how much of its ties to Garlemald is part of Matsuno's vision and how much of that is his direct work with the actual world building team and integrating that. I'd actually love to learn more about that, the percentage of that specifically, because I can't imagine he showed up and said, oh yeah, those people, yeah, no, those Garleans are these people.
No, he has mentioned when it was first announced that, like, Oda and Koji were along for, like, every step of the way,
and then Koji said that he only ever spoke to Matsuno, like, once.
Yeah, which is like, well, obviously he was speaking with Oda a lot, and then Oda was like, Koji, this is what's happening, and Koji's like,
all right.
Hey,
the product turned out great. It's my favorite 24-man from a gameplay perspective, and it's my favorite 24-man patch from a story perspective. For me, at the very least. I love watching people fuck up in that raid because I can just res them and save the whole thing.
So one more thing about Ridorana that's really bothering me that I'm trying to digest is Belias.
Why?
Because Belias has been mentioned as early as 2.0 as a primal.
Yeah. In the Summoner questline.
Yeah. Tristan summons a Belias Eggy. And then we see Belias in Ivalice. And it's like, well, everyone else around here is a Lucavi. And Lucavi are distinct from primals in, a pretty meaningful way. What is Belias doing here? How long has he been here? How did he get here? What is his connection with the Gigas? And how the fuck did Tristan...
I'm just gonna assume someone saw Belias one time and then they just like, oh, and then that's how primals are born.
So you think that this isn't primal Belias? You think this is like the original Belias and someone made like a primal of him?
They just it's like Good King Mogomog. That motherfucker wasn't real, and then they were just like, well, he's real, so they're like, well, I guess he's real now.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't know at the moment. I have no idea.
So Belias isn't a Lucavi.
No, he is.
Well, is he? I mean, he might be. The Belias in there may or may not be a Lucavi.
He is. Like
he's at the very least when the Duma took Bagamnon, it at least spawned Belias. It spawned Famfried, it spawned Belias. Belias could have already been there. Belias could have some like functional role within the lighthouse. Belias could have caused the cataract. We know the cataract wasn't originally there. We know the city of Galg was there, and then the cataract was part of some calamity associated with Galg that basically ruined Galg. And then subsequently, it was rediscovered and became used as a lighthouse. Like, Belias could have been there the whole fucking time. It's also worth mentioning Belias himself summons Belias Eggies.
Yeah, exactly.
In the fight itself.
So, yeah, maybe Belias is powering the beacon. Maybe Belias was kept there by the people of Galg in the same way that the Allagans, used the Warring Triad or used Bahamut. Like, we simply don't know, and it's really frustrating. I'm trying to work it out. I'm sort of slowly digesting it.
Well, we just need a Koji interview then. That's what we need.
We do. I don't know if you give us a straight answer though.
I have seen some of the Lucavi though in the first, right?
Well, we again, he's talking about the two Lucavi we see in the first
we've seen
Revan Aster. Are they? I guess the question is, are they ever explicitly called the Lucavi?
It would be safe to make that. It would be
the ones in Rabanasta are explicitly called Lucavi. We're told explicitly that the Duma produced them as Lucavi.
Right.
We're just not told explicitly what Belias is.
Yeah. And reminder, if you would like more information, please visit the Prima Vista.
And Construct 7 is not a Lucavi.
No,
it's not a Lucavi. No.
Yeah.
No.
So that's another reason why I'm thinking, well, maybe Belias was already there.
Construct 7 has been there since Ramza's time. So if you've played Tactic, there's quite a few things that imply the original Ramza had something to do with all of this. A big thing is that in Final Fantasy Tactics, there's two constructs. There's Construct 7, who's a boss, and there's Construct 8, who is an ally. And one of the things with Ramza is he actually gives, this is an Easter egg, the reason why during the Tartarus mode, and I don't know if you know this, but if you actually, after beating Iazmat, if you return to the entrance and run all the way back up to Construct 7, he's just dancing.
Yeah, he's just partying.
Yeah, and he's saying waiting for command, because the first command Ramza ever gave was to dance in Final Fantasy Tactics. He's like, well, dance. So it's a giant Easter egg. So there's odds are that, Ramza and the construct have some sort of, the original Ramza and that construct have some sort of history. But worth mentioning that Construct 7, cool guy, cool boss. I will say this with Construct 7, the math mechanic, I wasn't bullshit, but I'll say that calling a mechanic subtract when you're then immediately asking me to
Yes.
do math afterwards is the most fucking confusing thing that's ever happened.
Well,
Because
he
I thought,
subtracted your HP.
yeah, but when I see subtraction, I think he's making the four numbers subtract and not add. So I'm thinking
I
to
thought the
myself,
same thing.
First.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
so
Yeah,
then as soon as I
could've
realized it
locked
was
it
just
in.
my HP, and I was like, oh, how the fuck then? All right, never mind. This is easy. All right, okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I didn't get it the first time either, but yeah.
Today actually, I went in, and by the time the second computation mode was done, he was at 9% health because people were doing it correctly.
Oh, damn.
dang.
Yeah,
Oh, damn.
it was very
Because of the buff you get, right?
yeah because everyone did it correct the first time,
Yeah,
and
he's
then
a cool
everyone
guy.
everyone was doing it correct the second time as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm just saying, maybe calling the mechanic set parameter or set variable or something would have been more
Yeah.
clear than calling it subtraction. So otherwise, hilarious. How do we feel about the Iasmat redesign and I guess the re-lore of him? Because what ends up happening is
I love it.
the Duma turns Bagamnon into Iasmat, pretty much.
Yeah.
And Amamiya, the Dick Chariot designer, as Slyh has come to know him. He didn't design it, I know, but that's how we referenced him in the show. He's the one who's responsible for this new Iasmat. And how do we feel versus the OG?
Better.
I think it's great.
I mean, I'm biased because I've known Amimia's work, so I'm biased, but better.
I'm unbiased, and I say better.
Was Iasmat even in Tactics or just 12?
He's 12.
12.
The whole Ridorana Lighthouse is 12, so...
Well, I mean, Belias was in Tactics too, but
Yeah, but I mean, like,
12,
the location itself. Like, when people think Ridorana, Iasmat's almost always, for a Final Fantasy 12 player, the #1 thing that comes to mind.
Oh, okay.
So,
Gotcha.
that's
Yeah, so I
why
don't know.
everyone was like, is Iasmat going to be there? And he's just like, wait and see.
Not saying.
Not
Yeah.
saying.
Yeah, so I didn't play
Yeah.
12, so I can't give my input, but that's cool. He's better than however he was in 12.
Well, in 12, he was a nightmare because he is to this day, he has the second most HP of any boss in a Final Fantasy game.
And
Oh,
I was going
damn.
to ask about that. Do you really think like the beginning of that fight was a nod? Because when like
Of
the
course
first
it
time
was.
you do
Oh,
that-
definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. The first time you do it, you're like, okay, we're not going to be here for
And
a
it
while.
feels exactly like how you'd expect the actual Iasmat fight to feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had just over 50 million HP in Final Fantasy 12. He was eventually beaten out by Chaos Aeronite in Lightning Returns, which had 50. I think it had 57 million or 50. It's like 53 or 57 million. But Iasmat for newcomers is like a 6-hour fight in Final Fantasy 12. So when his health starts dropping that low, like that at that pace, you're like, especially after everyone's first week of Construct 7 taking like 45 minutes for one pull. Because the
Yeah.
group just wouldn't give up. They're like, oh, no. No.
Yeah, I remember losing it as soon as
No.
we started pulling. I'm like, what? He's still at 96%? Like,
Yeah.
we've been here a few minutes. I
Yeah.
thought that
Yeah,
was cool.
it's a really good nod.
It's a good nod, and then they give you a way to make his health not so stupid.
Right. With the heart or whatever you got to kill.
Yeah, exactly. Luckily, in the newer versions of 12, it's a much faster endeavor. Much faster.
How long? How long is 12? And then-
Well, I mean, Chris Paul said you could do it in 15 minutes. You can, but it's just because you can debuff him in Zodiac Age. You can't debuff him in the original. And on top of that, there's a bunch of other changes like breaking the damage cap and stuff that you can't do in the original. That adds to it a lot. Yeah, fastest in the OG 12 was 45 minutes if you didn't screw up once. That was
That's
as
insane.
fast as you could do it.
Wow.
That's
He's
ridiculous.
an optional boss then, right?
Yes, he's an
Yeah.
optional boss.
Okay.
He's basically the Shinryu of Ivalice. It's presumed, pretty much. So he does not fuck around.
Nope.
4 times
Yeah,
speed
I
also
thought it was
helps him today.
interesting as well. Like the relation to Shinryu is that the way he is, I guess, produced in 14 was very similar to the way that Shinryu was. Like it's Shinryu was this primal created out of loathing for the Empire and rage and all that. And this was basically a Lucavi of the same thing.
Yep.
It was Bagamnon being like, "Oh, you damn Imperials! I'm going to show you what for. I'm so mad." You get Yazmat.
And then he'll cut through you like it's like a knife through butter.
Like a knife through butter.
He loves saying that. He says he speaks. Having a speaking Yazmat took a few minutes to get over.
He likes his butter, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He loves his butter. Overall, I'm excited. I'm really glad of what they've done, and I think Matsuno should be very proud, and hopefully he's got something fantastic designed for the end. This is something I don't want to end in 3 patches.
So what do we think the next location is going to be?
So somebody mentioned there was a name drop of a location.
Nalbina Fortress is mentioned.
There's another one.
Giravegan.
Giravegan's not. I don't think Giravegan's ever mentioned, but the Le Monde is the one that's mentioned.
They actually do mention Giravegan.
Oh, do
somebody
they?
Does. Yeah,
yes,
somebody does.
Do.
If it's yeah.
I'm trying to find it, but yeah, they do.
Okay,
I'm gonna put my hat towards.
It might be in the Prima Vista. Also, I might have missed the Prima Vista because I haven't gone back into the Prima Vista and done the bacon bread quests.
Not missing much.
The music role is Giravegan. Yeah, but Le Monde is from Vagrant Story, which is another evolution thing from Matsuno. So that's another location that's mentioned.
I think the other possibility is Nabadis.
Yeah, I've been saying Nabadis for a while now, only because that's the home place of Chaos, which is still the stone that produced the Yazmat. So it's a bit tougher to make that call now. But there's a lot of mysteries going into the next one. True story. Do you know that the bacon bread thing is a reference to a video Yasumi Matsuno did where he made bacon bread?
No.
Yes, I'd have to find it, but it's a direct reference to Yasumi Matsuno, the whole little side story with the dramaturgist.
Yeah, that's him. You ask him about the wandering minstrel. And it's quite funny.
The dramaturgist is Yasumi Matsuno, pretty much. Yeah. So, but I mean, that specific bacon bread reference is to he made a video of him making bacon bread. There's a video of him making bacon bread. So, I'm just saying that's why it's bacon bread in the first place. So just get that out of the way for this one. Okay, so is there anything else we need to touch on before we go into the main story, Tsukiyomi, the Extreme Primal, and Ethys' ultimate revenge?
Nope.
No? I'm sure there are other things we could think of, but that's nothing of interest. Okay, all right. So with that, main story. We have the conclusion to the Domin side of the main story quests. We have our answers about Yatsuyu, how they were gonna take her character, her relation with Doma, who the primal was, and where we're going next. I think is probably the most important detail that's answered there towards the end. So first off, before we get into anything specific, thoughts. General thoughts. Take them wherever you will. Sly.
I will let you gentlemen go first. I'm still salty.
Oh, you lost another waifu? Okay. He's really upset about it. He said stop! They all die, Sly. Stop picking them. You're the one killing them.
What happened, man?
You're like the bad luck charm.
You stood there while she got shot twice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really stupid. Like,
it always is, isn't it? We never do.
Nothing. Yeah. Well, I'll just go ahead. General thoughts about the story. It basically is what we expected. There weren't really too many surprises from the last.
I mean, there were some pretty big surprises, but I know where you're going with this.
Yeah. Like in comparison, like that was the more important surprise out of it. But yeah, as far as like where we're going, I was interested to see that. I thought, like, really now out of all times, like we're heading, like we're not there yet. Only one person is going as quote unquote an envoy of sorts. But yeah, we're really
he's gonna be hard pressed to make it there.
I know, but yeah, oh no, I thought it was a really solid story patch that you would maybe expect in a later patch, but yeah, really solid. Not what I was expecting.
For us,
what were you expecting?
Oh well, okay, yeah, we'll take that. What were you expecting?
something on the lighter side, something mediocre, kind of like the patch where we got the final steps of fate.
So 3.3.
Wait, how is that? You're saying 3.3 was mediocre?
Yes.
Really?
I felt like the jump from 3.2 to 3.3 was pretty rushed, but other than that, 3.3 I loved.
That's how it was.
Wait,
So
3.3 is when the dragons attack Ishgard, right?
Yeah. That's a Nidhogg.
That's the sickest storyline patch that I've ever seen in the game. That's my favorite one.
All right. So how did you think this one compared, Fersh?
It's up there with it for me. I liked it, man. It was dark, but I know you guys all talked about speculation about Yotsuyu and how she was going to end up and everything, but I didn't really see it going down this way, to be honest. Just as someone who I don't dive too deep into the lore. I don't speculate too much. I kind of just go with it. I play the game. I don't do a ton of research, but I didn't see Yotsuyu going this way, and that was I liked the primal fight, but for the story overall, I mean, it's I liked the political game with Hien and Asahi, and it was almost like it didn't really get in too much of like a battle of wits, but it was politics for a while, and up until this, it was just war. I know not everyone likes political stories, but I thought this was kind of a nice change of pace. And I think this patch was the best one yet as far as politics go.
And that's when Alphino gets to shine the most, because he is our resident politic.
Yeah.
All right, Ethys.
Alphino, man.
Anything other than the final reveal?
Ethys? Yeah. All right. Well, I mean...
Take us through the events of Doma. Take us through your thoughts on, the ultimate confrontation to end the Doman quest line.
Well... Asai has been carrying around these crates. Like, every time we catch up with him, he's carrying around a crate of crystals, just like hoping that Yotsuyu is going to get like pissed off, basically, or that he's going to, trigger some memory. Man, the thing with their parents was really sad. That was really, really rough. Like, they were the most like irredeemable characters. There was nothing good about them. Like, so. Just to remind you guys, Yotsuyu was sold by her stepfather to a brothel so that they could afford to put Asahi into an imperial college. And the first thing that her father says to her when they are confronted again was, "Oh, maybe we'll be able to sell her again. Like, maybe she's still useful. Maybe she's still like got a few good ones left in her." Man, that was so fucked up. So what sort of the conditions under which her memory was sort of triggered just like reaffirmed all of that nihilism from her original character. And yeah, I think it was basically inevitable going the way that she did. But in any case, we did predict that it was going to be Tsukuyomi. We find that Tsukuyomi is one of the Kojin gods. But because she was sort of raised to believe in the kami, it made her like susceptible to, becoming a host for it. And that was, I mean, it was great, wasn't it? It was really good.
I was worried. After Fordola and everything they did with her, Yotsuyu kind of felt a little underwhelming. It took till now, but it all came full circle for me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and we go back to that comparison of the two with Fordola and Yotsuyu, who had the worst struggle. I still say Yotsuyu. I don't think neither of them is merited. Neither of them had any merit in what they did. Like, they're still fucking terrible people. But yeah, absolutely, Yotsuyu still had the worst struggle.
But Yotsuyu didn't really struggle because she lost her memory and then she got her memory back. Yeah, like there was no real struggle in there. There was no real conflict. Like, basically,
in terms of their history, not their their current.
Oh, you mean in terms of what they went through? That created what they were. Oh yeah, no, totally, I get that.
Yeah, Yotsuyu didn't try to fight. She didn't struggle with herself, what she was. She's like, no, this world wronged me. I'm gonna wrong it as hard as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
totally.
She deserves what she got in the sense, like, full circle.
Within the fight, like this is something that we also predicted as well, that the Zenos. God damn it, Aloha. The whole like Zenos Gosetsu thing in the fight was actually some sort of, you know, reminiscent crumb of Tsuyu remaining intact and sort of fighting back. And that was really compelling as well. And that was really sad. And I really liked that.
That was a really nice touch.
Yeah, it was a nice touch. And I think there was like a lot of truth to the specters within the fight. Like when you kill Asahi, like when you're like DPSing Asahi, he says it should have been me.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of reflections of the truth within those specters.
Yeah,
I love that.
This was one of those primal fights where it didn't feel like it happened for no reason, which is a big thing with a lot of primals. Where it's like, well, fight me because I exist, pretty much, or I have to be put down. You had to put her, you had to put her down, but everything that she says, everything she does in the fight is a part of Yatsuyu's character. It was a fight with narrative. It was a fight where narrative was one of the primary facters of the direction of the encounter.
Yes,
and that made it all the more enjoyable.
I mean, even to the point where, like, halfway through the fight, she comes to the realization that her power is being fueled by her torment, by her pain, and that she needs to invite more suffering onto herself in order to sustain that power. Which is when she starts summoning the shades. I was like, it was just, particularly the first time doing it, like, it was just really heartbreaking, honestly.
Yeah. And then you get to see that even the fully, you know, just completely fucked up, ruined in the head Yatsuyu, she actually did develop a sense of emotion for one individual. The one individual who put her entire past behind it, Gosetsu. And even you know, after Gosetsu saves her, his memory kind of blocks out the suffering. She even has one last little word about him, about how she hopes something, you know,
she hopes the persimmon.
She hopes the hopes of persimmon tastes good. Yeah, that he enjoys the persimmon. Yeah. So
basically, we established that she's not a psychopath.
She just literally was never loved and never treated.
She was just fueled by emotion.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like same with Fordola. She was just fueled by emotion.
Yeah, it's I don't know. She's like Dexter. It's like completely fucking ruined, but like at some point developed a sense of emotion.
Because Dexter is a psychopath, right?
I think she's still a psychopath. I think he's a sociopath. No,
she's a sociopath. She's a sociopath.
I don't know. They're completely fucking ruined in every way. They do completely irredeemable things, but some way.
The difference between a psychopath and a sociopath is that a psychopath is like fundamentally fucked up. It's like they're just sort of born that way. There's something like fundamentally and categorically wrong with them. Whereas sociopaths behave the same way, have the same sort of qualities, but they're qualities that are produced by their circumstances. And we were unsure which one, you know, where Yotzi sort of fit in there, but I think we do now. So I think we're all a bit more sympathetic for Yotzi at this point. And that was compelling. That was good. And then Alphino decided he was going to go to Garlemald, which was the stupidest decision that Alphino's made in his life.
I'm just
going to go there by myself.
Garlemald just had their ambassador killed. Why does he think he can go there as an ambassador?
Asahi wasn't actually their ambassador.
Yeah, I know Zenos.
Just pretending to be.
Well, Zenos put him there as that.
Yeah. But that was totally the thing. It's like, why would you go as why do you think you're going to be safe going as a Domin ambassador? Like, at least maybe go and contact your daddy in Charlene and maybe get like a Charlene delegation together. He was like, no, all right, I'll see you guys later. I'm just going to go by myself with this stranger into the den of the enemy, and it'll be fine. I'll work it out as it goes.
I mean, good idea.
This
is the one thing that I wasn't expecting. This is the only thing in this whole patch where I was like,
same.
Are you fucking serious, Alphino?
I don't think he's gonna make it.
He's gonna make it.
I don't think
he's gonna make it.
That motherfucker's dead. That motherfucker's dead in 5.0.
I think
he's got Daddy. He's gonna make it. Daddy's not gonna let anything happen.
Fuck it. He's dead. Fuck it. He's done
dead.
in 5.0.
I agree. That's
He's the main character of Final Fantasy 14. He can't be dead.
No, I'm the main character.
No, Alphinaud's come on, let's be real. Alphinaud's the main character.
No, Minfilia is the main character.
I just feel like Alphinaud has gotten a lot more confident in his diplomacy. So much so that he's willing to risk life and limb just to take a trip to Garlemald. So
he just knows he has plot armor.
Well, he knows he knows that there's these two factions, the Populares and the Optimates, and he's hoping that the Populares are sort of strong enough that he's not going to get killed and he can help them out in some way.
But he knows Asahi's version of the Populares, and
well, he knows that Asahi was not a Populares and Asahi was bullshitting. But we thought that Asahi's like whole entourage was in on the game.
Turns out it was only him.
It turns out it was only him, and like Maxima was like, no, I actually want to go ahead with this prisoner transfer, and like Maxima is like sincerely a Populares, and Alphinaud recognizes that. He's like, all right, we'll sweet. Here's my opportunity. So I get that, but man, it was such a quick decision, and it was such a.
If there was any doubt about going to Ilsabard before, we're going to Ilsabard now. If there was any doubt about going to Ilsabard in 5.0, I think that was quelled as soon as the words came out of his mouth. I will go to Garlemald.
Yep.
Well, I think we'll be seeing Ilsabard before 5.0 because we're getting these. What was that status that we had with Alphinaud roleplay?
Yeah.
So I think that this is going to be used as like a narrative vehicle for us to like make a journey to Ilsabard in Alphinaud's shoes and see like zones along the way with each subsequent MSQ patch.
Yeah, that was. But we won't talk about the kind of the main point of that instance yet. But for anyone who hasn't done it yet, there's a role playing instance where you control a different character who isn't the Warrior of Light, and as you said, use it as a vessel to experience other parts of the story you otherwise wouldn't see. And I feel like it was well placed and well used above all else.
Yeah, it was really good.
Simple to understand, not too difficult, but a good way of getting information to the player other than just showing us a teaser cutscene.
Yeah.
I hope in the next one he's fighting and he's like casting spells, but then he goes so he's like, fuck, what do I do? And he picks up a gun blade, and then we get a preview of the next class. I mean Machinist. We play Machinist.
You'll get that right after your next Samurai buff.
Do you think Alphinaud could even lift a gunblade, let alone know what to do with it?
Maybe he gets like a Lalafell one.
Well,
it's just a little toy gunblade.
I mean, if we're gonna talk about jobs and everything, let's dive deep down into the rabbit hole and talk about the aftermath of the role play. Let's just go ahead and get right.
Jesus, can we do things in order for once? We fucking skipped half the other. We're literally skipping to the biggest news. Other than, to be fair, there's actually 3 major points at the end that are established and are pretty consistent. Can we just leave that? Because that's the thing I won't be able to get FS off of if we start.
I just want to get him off of it quick.
Oh, you really teasing me.
I don't need you to say get FS off quick ever again. Dude. All the same.
This is an awful lot of foreplay, you guys.
I want you to really enjoy it.
Oh, thank you.
There you go. Because if we get to it now, then you have to, everything's gonna be gone. Then how do we talk about the other points?
I have to go and lie down, and it's true.
Yeah, I know how it works.
Man, are we still talking about Final Fantasy 14?
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so do we want to talk about Zenos then?
Yes. So after all is said and done, we kind of skipped over the fact that Yatsu kind of kills Asahi in cold blood as her last thing. As a reminder to what Ethys said, she was sold to put him to get him his position in the Imperial Army, and so she kind of hates him the most. He never quite realized it, but she uses the last of her primal power to fucking kill Aloha. I swear to God.
That was so sick how she did it too.
That was a great scene.
I loved that.
He fucking shot her. It's like he just walks up, starts shooting her, and then all of a sudden
we're just like, whoa, whoa,
and then starts kicking her after.
And then just that's it. Just two swords right through him. It was quite the show. It was one of the best like cutscene series, like from the end of that fight to establishing that Alphinaud's going to Garlemald.
I think it's the best kill in the game.
That's
storyline.
it's a pretty damn good kill.
Yeah.
I'd definitely agree with that. I don't think you guys can dispute that much. Moonbreeda is the best sacrifice, I'll say.
No, Papalimo.
No, I felt so much worse about Moonbreedas than I was like, all right, this fucking idiot right here. All right. I felt no remorse for Papalimo. I just thought it was.
I think Louis Soir was the best.
All right, he's the OG. That's not.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
I'll give you that. Yeah, Papalimo he was Louis Soir's copycat, except he didn't do as good a job. He got the spell working for a few minutes longer, at the very least. That's good news, right?
Yeah, I mean, he did the job.
Yeah, for a little bit, and then Omega took care of the rest. And now look where we are. Yeah, we never had a chance to get attached to him. Granted, we didn't have much of a chance to get attached to Moonbreeda. We had 2 patches that killed her, and they did a pretty good job with her in those 2 patches. So, okay. So with that, we've established Alphino's going there to talk to be an envoy for Doma and, help the Popularis with whatever, politics over in Garlemald. Doma's like, all right, we're going to keep rebuilding this shit. We're going to keep working. Gosetsu's going to go off. He's become the new Astinian. He's become the Stormblood Astinian. He's just going to go travel the world and shit. So we'll probably see him again at some point for whatever reason. And then we start to tackle the problem that was presented in that we see an echo vision from Asahi that shows him speaking to a recently resurrected Zenos. And I'm glad for once that all the characters kind of come to the same conclusion as the player for once.
Yeah.
It's like, that's an Asian, right? That can't be him. Although, Ethys, obviously, you presented the theory that with the Echo, and this theory does come into play for something else this patch.
Yeah.
Yeah, that because of the Echo, he did technically, cheat death.
Yeah, he could. Yeah, he could. Yeah, I'm leaning more to the side that it is Elidibus, and this is frustrating to me because when we got the cutscene where Elidibus takes off his mask to show the Emperor and the Emperor reacts, can that be a new YouTube channel? The Emperor reacts. Yeah.
How dare you?
Just to everything. Oh, now I'm completely sidetracked. Yeah, so during that scene, Elidibus is like head and shoulders shorter.
Yeah.
Than Varys.
Yeah.
Right. But now, Zenos, he's like the same height, if not like a little bit taller.
Yeah,
and it's just like, so I'm like, all right, okay, fine. Elidibus possessed Zenos. Like I can accept that now, but it's still like, why didn't they just fucking use Zenos's model for Elidibus beforehand? And
been too obvious.
Yeah, but like that's what he was.
Yeah, but you can't take that verbatim every time. Like he's an assy. He can do whatever the fuck he wants.
What you reckon he just like opened like console commands and set player size to like 0.65 or something?
Yeah,
like
we'll go with that.
I'm just saying, like it's inconsistent. It's like he's a different size.
It is.
And it still sort of makes me wonder, well, whose body was Elidibus using?
Yeah, here you go.
Right?
Look,
right.
When he cut his throat, he just took the head first, and he went back for the rest of the body later.
Oh my god,
I'll take it.
So look, I think that it's most likely Elidibus having taken Zenos's body. Then there's the Elazin.
That's Zenos.
That's the prevailing theory. And people are saying, all right, it's got blue eyes. Everyone and their grandma has blue eyes. So that I don't buy that. He's got a katana and sort of draws and attacks in a similar fashion, which is, yes, that's compelling. And he also like makes references to the hunt, which, yes, that is also very, very compelling. I think that it's quite likely that it is Zenos. I think if it's not Zenos, then it's someone who's very closely related to Zenos, another one of his disciples, like Asahi, possibly.
So what I think the exact thing that happened is Zenos's body was taken by Elidibus very quickly, I'm assuming.
Yes. Yeah.
And what happened, and he became that he basically pulled the Sahagin thing, where the Sahagin with the Echo is able to transfer his essence between the bodies.
And found his body was already taken.
And found his body was already taken. So they had patrols going back, checking on the grave. They did send. Didn't they mention they sent one group of individuals to go check the grave to make sure that it was.
Well, they sent a group of people to go and bury him. So yeah. I reckon it was one of the resistance members that was tasked with burying him that he's just possessed.
Yeah.
The thing is, that just seems like really kind of sloppy. It's like it's Freaky Friday. It's like, okay, so Elidibus is in Zenos's body. Zenos is in this Elizon's body. Like, I think that's what's happening, but it just seems like a little bit contrived to me.
I like there's a little more thinking involved than the normal story twists.
Yes, I agree with that, but it's just a little bit messy.
Sloppy.
There
you go. I'm 100% convinced that shit is Zenos. That the Elizon is undoubtedly Zenos.
I'm not 100%, but it's more likely that than any other outcome.
Because there's no other Acian we've had interactivity with other than Elidibus. So
not since the end of Heavensward. No, not since since Lahabrea and Igortham, whatever her name was.
Igiorm.
Yeah, that one. Azalea. There you go. Yeah. So I think it's most likely, and this I don't even know what angle this necessarily creates in terms of the way things are panning out, because we now have pretty much an Acian controlled. What's the other side? There's the Popularis and the other one. What's the other one?
Optimatus.
So we have a Zenos powered Optimatus, which is Elidibus, and then on top of that, you have the actual Emperor being under the influence and just letting Elidibus do whatever the fuck he wants because he says it'll help, which is, what Gaius did, and I think Gaius learned something.
Varys doesn't have the same, I guess, like modus operandi or even the same ethics as Solas does. Varys just wants power. He just wants to accrue power. He wants to take over the world. He doesn't really seem all that interested in, like, saving the star or ridding the star of primals or any of that kind of shit.
Well, he kind of seems a tad bit similar to, like, the same situation Thornton was in.
Yeah, he thinks he's smarter. He thinks he can stay one step ahead.
Yeah.
The Acians are always the most steps ahead, though.
Well, Elidibus is. I mean, Thornton was one step ahead of Lahabrea, and Lahabrea paid for it. But Lahabrea was an idiot, and Elidibus is not.
Well, not yet, at least. This motherfucker, he's proven pretty cunning since he was introduced in 2.1. And also very much not about immediate violence, just about manipulating the situation. Only violence if he needed it. Otherwise, he doesn't like to show off too much. So we have no idea how strong he actually is as an Acian. We'd have to assume the strongest by far, though.
Yeah.
So we've got Elidibus Zenos Ellison. That leaves us with one remaining scenario and character to discuss. The one Ethys has been waiting for this whole time. So during the role-playing scene, the Popularis aircraft is shot down in the burn. So it's also the first time we get to see the burn and see it is literally as barren as can possibly be. There is nothing there. Period.
Yeah, it's just been drained of ether. So we've known since 1.0. There's sort of been this axiom of Solas, starting his conquering and coming across the burn and being like, oh my god, what is this? It's like half a continent that is just completely dead, completely drained of ether. And someone's explained to him about the primals and what has happened. There were lots of summonings here and battles with primals, and subsequently it is just decimated. There's nothing there. And that's when Solas decreed, okay, primals are public enemy number one. Like, we're literally all about making sure that this kind of shit doesn't happen ever again. So the burn, when we first saw the expanded map of Othard, we were like, all right, it's either going to be that place or maybe the side of like Borja Citadel. So it turns out that it is the forming. We were correct about that. So I was really, really excited to see this. It was good.
It's also probably the worst path they could have taken to get back to Ilsabard, as much as it was probably their only path.
Well, they're going in a straight line.
Yeah, they're going in a straight line.
Yeah, and they got shot down by...
We'd assume we're Optimates.
Yeah. Presumably. Yeah.
So, while you're being attacked by the Imperials, you know, Alphino and them, they're trying to fight back a little bit, and to not much avail, considering the conditions and the number disadvantage. And all of a sudden, a group of 3 individuals over on the horizon, they show up, and they help you out. One of them wields a very particular gunblade, and...
He's a machinist.
No, he's an OG.
Someone's wielding the Kingslayer. Can I paint a picture? Can we like step back a minute and let me paint a picture for you?
Okay.
So, the climax of 2.0, you're piloting Ultima Weapon, right? You think that you finally have the power to restore order to these barbarians in Eorzea. None of the Eorzeans themselves are powerful enough to prevent primals from being summoned, or to defeat them when they are summoned. No one has that power. And this strange black robed man has given you the power to do it. And then suddenly you realize that actually that's not what he's about. He's trying to use you to cause calamity. He destroys your secret base in the Praetorium. You manage to escape the explosion, and feeling very betrayed, you decide that the rest of your life's work is going to be dedicated to hunting him and his down. And you collect their masks on your belt. But you also have your mask on your belt. Your mask that was your visor as part of your old helmet on your belt to kind of constantly remind you of that betrayal and of the life you left behind. And you go hunting Acians, and you call yourself the Shadow Hunter.
It's a really fucking good picture.
It's a pretty good picture.
Yeah. And 2.5 years later, you're in the burn, and you see Alphino, and you recognize him, and you say to him that you know who he is. You say to him that you know who the Scions of the Seventh Dawn are. You say to him that you've had dealings with the Scions before. But you're not going to tell Alphino who you are, because that would freak the fuck out of Alphino. You're just gonna take him along with you for the time.
You're the shadow. Yeah, you're just along the ride with the Shadow Hunter.
Shadow Hunter. So, Daddy's back. Gaius is back. I've been saying it for what, 3.5 years now.
Has it only been that long?
It's been about that
much.
Long. Yeah,
probably longer. Probably longer.
It's lit.
Yeah. So, as Ethys has most accurately described, the individual who comes to save you is almost definitely, without a doubt, Gaius van Baelsar. And
companions.
Companions, which I'll give Ethys in a minute time to speak about those two, because I've heard some other theories about who those two people are as well. This is most notable by his weapon, by the way, the Airsbane, Ethys, not the Kingsbane.
Airsbane,
so much for fucking caring for the last 4 years. All right,
my bad.
And
it's based on Kingsbane, all right.
And among his collection, he has 5 masks from the Lesser Acians. You may recognize them from things such as the level 15 story quest, where you take on that Acian with the demon. You have the red mask, which belonged to the higher tier of Igayorm and La Habrea. And then you have a white mask, which doesn't belong to any Acian. That's his mask. That's, if you look at Gaius' face, a small faceplate about this size, that's his.
Yeah.
So, you've got your wish. Daddy's back.
Got our wish, and he's doing he knows that the Empire is not what it should be. He knows that the Empire is basically being puppeteered by the Acians and by Elidibus. He realized that he was being puppeteered by La Habrea, and he's made it his life's mission to rid the Empire of this scourge, and presumably, as a result, restore the Garlean Republic and sponsor the Populares.
Side by side with the Scions of the Seventh Dawn, we going in with Gaius, and he's gonna teach you all your new machinist abilities, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No,
Exactly.
man, he's gonna teach you how to wield a gunblade with the gunblade class that's coming in 5.0.
Oh my god.
Imagine if he was a class trainer. We'd all have to get the job, right?
Oh my god.
And I don't unlock it anyway because
I'll
I just
show
get
you.
everything to max level.
You gotta fight fire with fire, kid. Get behind me. Let's go hunt some shadows.
I wonder when I feel like the revelation of who he is will come probably before 5.0 itself.
Yeah, it'll come in the next couple patches, I think.
I can't wait.
In a role playing scene.
And Alphina's gonna be like, what? No way.
Sorry, I had to type something real quick. Anyway.
Like, you know how, hold on. You know how, wait. No. Anyway, you know how he was always like, Eorzea is mine by right. What if one day we're side by side with Gaius and we're fighting off against the Empire to make it right again? And he's like, Eorzea is ours by right. Wouldn't that be sick?
Well, he already conceded when we were fighting him that he was wrong. He was like, oh shit, I've been trying to conquer Eorzea because I thought that no Eorzeans had the strength to defend it.
You're right. He had that realization there.
Yeah, and he had that realization, which was one of the things where I was like, oh, well, he's got to come back. His arc's not done yet. He's just had that realization.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait, man.
Oh, it's really exciting.
I'm so excited for that.
As for the people with him, I'm a little bit frustrated by this. There's a blue-haired Hjor, who is almost definitely a Garland. And people like, oh, it's Guillaume.
No.
Well, because only one character in a weeb game has ever had blue hair. Like,
and see, somebody had to point this out. She did have the Garlean eye, correct? I couldn't see it. I couldn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen it personally, but I've been told that people have data mined that model, and it does have the third eye.
Okay,
that's what I've been told. So I'm sort of assuming that that's right at the moment, but no, I don't think it is a gay. If it is a Guillaume, then that's just like entirely incidental.
Who is that?
Guillaume was one of the Acians it was one of the two Acians at the end of the Etherochemical Research
Heaven's
Facility.
Lord.
Yeah. Guillaume was the Acian overlord of the 13th shard, which became the Void. She fucked up, so she was delegated as La Habrea's bitch, basically.
Yep.
Why would it be her with Gaius?
It wouldn't. Because it's got blue hair. People saying, "Oh, it's got blue hair. It's a girl with blue hair."
Okay, so that's whatever. That's whatever.
Yeah, that's whatever.
Right.
I mean, it might be, but I don't think so.
I think it's more likely we got the real Rams. I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
I think it's possible that he's been purging the Acians from hosts and then like collecting the hosts in his entourage. I think that's possible.
He's freeing them.
Yeah. So kind of like how we freed Old Mate in 2.0.
Thancred, he means.
He seems like more like a loner to me. I think he would purge the Acian, but wouldn't take anybody on.
I think he would. I think if he cares this much about he's a do anything to get it done kind of guy. And
I'm saying that's one theory. The other, they could be survivors from the 14th Legion. They could be members of the Populares that he's sort of picked up from other places. They could be anyone. I've heard a lot of theories. The Elezen may or may not be a Duskwite. It may be a clan that we actually haven't seen yet. We know there are other Elezen clans elsewhere on the planet, so I'm quite excited about the possibility of that being like a new Elezen clan.
It's also worth being interested in the fact that it's very odd. It's very unusual to see a Garlean hanging around with an Elezen. It's not the most normal of things, other than the ones who were what's it called? Taken over and integrated.
Well, the only Garlean that would do that
is Gaius. Gaius, and
Gaius
because Ratatan, he gave Ratatan his chance.
Gaius doesn't give a shit where you're from or who you are. He only cares about your results and your loyalty.
Man, I love Gaius.
Oh, Gaius is the best character. So do we have any other theories about who those two might be?
No, I think the idea that oh, you do,
Okay.
Sly. All right.
Okay.
I want to hear this.
But it has holes. See, it has holes. Like, I mean, the female. Yeah, like,
don't say what I think you're about to say.
Lydia's dead.
No,
Lydia's dead. She was in the Palace of the Dead. She's in the Palace of the Dead.
She's dead. She's gone.
She's literally
done.
in the Palace of the Dead. She's so dead.
She's 100% dead.
You under the table like this.
She's in the Palace of the Dead. Her and Ratatan are both in the Palace of the Dead.
Sly,
and
say what you gotta say.
No, please go ahead. Why do you think it's Livia?
Well, the third eye mainly, but
Oh man, there's no other Garleans in the world.
yes, I understand that, but you know, like it was just a possibility. And like I said, it had holes in it.
That's a lot of holes. Well, you know what the biggest hole is? Hershey's fucking dead.
The biggest hole is the hole that we put through a skull.
Damn, really? Wow.
Also, Livia's a bitch. Livia massacred the Scions. Livia, in a notoriously brutal fashion, massacred every remotely suspected rebel in Rabanasta. Livia was a piece of shit.
Maybe Gaius does he know about
Since
all
when
that?
haven't we known pieces of shit?
Gaius definitely knew about all that.
Yeah, Gaius knew about all that. Gaius knew all about that. But it was not done under his sort of direct supervision. Yeah. So, you know.
And she was, I mean, don't get me wrong, she wanted to jump Gaius's bones all the fucking time, but she was also a psychopath, so.
Yeah, but, you know, he's not going to say no. Like, he's a human being.
She drop kicked a cabbage person. Not wrong.
Literally.
I remember that scene very, very well.
Me and Minfilia at the same time cried out, "No!" The cabbage just hit the wall.
Oh, the cabbage!
It's gonna make a salad. Anyway.
No, it's bruised.
Imagine if that's how you bruised lettuce. You just fucking drop kicked it. That was how lettuce went bad, was by drop kicking it. All right. So that's the theory about those two. I'm gonna ask the more important question: how the fuck is he killing Acians?
How do we kill Acians?
Yeah, but how did he do? How is he getting the resources and do it? Like, he's not just killing them. How is he getting resources?
How is he getting the resources?
How do
we get the resources? Gaius van Baelsar is the most decorated veteran. He's like the fucking Genghis Khan of Garlemald.
Yeah.
He was Solus's ace in the hole. He was a military genius. He restored the ultimate weapon. You're trying to tell me that he's not going to be able to work out how to replicate the technology that some Eorzean savages use to capture and destroy Acians?
But how would he know that?
How would he know that? Because he's been studying them. Because he's dedicated.
I'm not just gonna buy that he magically has done
on his hands.
Yeah, he's dedicated his whole life to it since Ultima. Like we've had all this other shit we've had to do, and we've still found time to kill a couple of that.
Dude's out traveling the world under the radar. You think he's not ran into some interesting crystals and shit? He says, "Okay, well I ain't leaving that there." Scoop, you're coming with me. Scoop, you're coming with me. He gets into a confrontation with an alien. Acian, bop, 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 lights him up, takes his gun blade, gets knocked out of his hand. Acian's like, "Gotcha now, bitch." He's like, "Fuck." Throws his crystal. Bam.
You forgot the part where he used wildfire.
He uses wildfire just before he throws the crystal, so wildfire goes off while the Acian's in the crystal. It's just like
perfect burst.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Fucking dead
I meant more of the specifics, by the way, because it's not. I doubt he just acquires aura
that was
sight
pretty
and
specific.
and does the same thing. I have a feeling that when he's in the Praetorium and the Ultima Weapon is there, I don't know that we can 100% confirm the Heart of Sabik is completely destroyed. And I'd like to believe that in his escape, he might have salvaged some of the heart. Yeah, he might. I feel like he probably has the heart.
I think the most likely thing is that he's killing the hosts and thus banishing the Acians. So the Acians have to go back to Acian Hammer space, and they have to regroup, and then they have to possess someone else. So he's really, really like slowing them down and putting a serious dent in their ability to operate, but he's not like permanently destroying them in the way that we have a couple of times. And that's where we're going to come in. That's what we're going to be able to offer him, is the ability to sort of permanently dispatch him. That's what's going to motivate him to team up with us. That's the most likely.
So you say that
he's probably killed. He's probably killed the same Acian like 6 times. It's probably, the Acian probably goes and like inhabits
3 masks.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like the mask feels symbolic. Like feels a little more symbolic. He wouldn't take it unless he knew the job was done.
They don't just when you kill an Acian, they don't just like. They're not like did what's his face's mask fall off when we killed his ass?
If it leaves the corpse.
Okay, so the 2 Acian, let's do this real quick. La Habrea we killed when he was in Thancred's body. We killed the douchebag in the Rising Star. It's been so long I can't remember that. Nabriales.
We proper killed him.
Killed him. Igayorm was proper killed. La Habrea was proper killed.
At the same time.
At the same time. Those 2 are fucking dead. So let's assume that none of those masks came from them, because it'd be fucking weird if he just picked them up after we were done.
No.
I'm just wondering, he's got them who's he killed, and what have they been doing, and how has he been I just want to know how he's doing the shit. Okay.
I go back to the scene. I can't remember which scene it was, but I think it was Elidibus and Nabrialis, but it was a host of other Acians. Like they're not the only ones. And
the red masks, there's at least 13 of them.
Right.
There's at least 1 for each original shard.
Yes. I just want to know who he's fucking.
I just really like the idea of Gaius killing an Acian, sending it back to Hammer space, and then it comes and inhabits a new body, and like 3 days later, Gaius kills him again. It's like, shit.
He has to eventually get
tired you again.
Of that shit, though.
Maybe
I feel like whoever he's killing is dead, not host.
He has to get tired of killing the same person or killing the same Acian.
Why would he get tired of that? He'd probably fucking love it. He'd be frothing on it. If he could kill La Habrea like 100 times over, you think he wouldn't? He'd be stoked. No,
because there are other Acians you have to move on to.
Absolutely, he would. I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but
I'm just waiting for the fucking 3-way fucking cage match with Elidibus, Zenos, Ellison, and Gaius. I'm waiting for that 3-way match to fucking go however it will. Because they're all gonna come to a head at the same fucking time.
I don't know, what were the past interactions between Gaius and Zenos? Were there any?
Not really.
None that we've been made privy to.
No.
Gaius and Zenos didn't really see eye to eye with how to run their individual legions or their conquests.
If they interacted at all.
I mean, I'm sure as Legatuses at some point they probably have, but not on friendly terms. No way Gaius would ever be friendly to Zenos.
Right. All right.
Yeah. I mean, even though they were both Legatuses, I mean, Zenos' royal family, basically, isn't he?
Yeah.
So you'd kind of be above. So it wouldn't be, like you said, friendly terms. It'd be more of a.
Well,
I feel like
Gaius was basically, it's indicated anyway, he was basically Solus's favorite.
Yeah.
Like he was the one that got shit done. He was the one that didn't care about politics. He was the one that sort of shared the I guess the philosophical aspirations of Solus. And
by God, does Gaius look good without his helmet on? It made him look like daddy.
Yeah.
He looks his age.
How old is he?
57.
There you go. That's old as fuck.
It's pretty old.
It's pretty old for a man that moves that that well on the battlefield. I can't wait to find out he has the resident. That would never happen with him.
No, I don't think so.
No
That'd
way.
be crazy.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for that to come to a head a little bit more, which I'm sure with Zenos in the Ellison body, we'll probably learn a little bit more about exactly what the resident can do. Because now, if that is, then if Vordola goes, I'm not going to trust anything. Vordola dies, which we have to revisit that next patch with Vordola's story and everything. I don't want to know what the fuck's going to happen to her. Zenos just going to kill her, man. Zenos just going to be like, watch this.
No, I don't know.
No, he probably wouldn't. He liked her.
I don't know. I reckon she'd probably hold her own against Zenos now.
Probably. She's got or she's trained her ultra instinct.
I mean, we only beat her because we fucking nerfed her with like a dampening field.
Yeah, we had that scepter or something, right?
Yeah.
I love how it's just the dampening field. Like, it's just like, yeah, how do we stop this? It just, yeah, dampening field.
We bombarded her with so much like basically ethereal information that her echo stopped functioning.
Yep. I love the way the more we see of this expansion story, the happier I am. Because this shit's cool.
Yeah, it's got layers too. It's not just
it's like an ogre.
Board in one line. There's a lot of things
True.
going on.
Ogres have layers.
Ogres do. Onions also have layers. Stormblood also has layers.
We DDoS'd her.
We DDoS'd her echo. That's it. We DDoS'd her echo.
Pretty much, actually. That's actually a really good metaphor for what we did. Yeah, we DDoS'd her echo.
Feels bad, man. Stooping to new lows.
No, it worked.
And now with that, we wait patiently for 4.4, where the adventures of Alphino will probably continue via the role-playing aspect. We will probably go back to the Alamegan side of things. They kind of set it up for that already. When we go back to where Zenos was actually buried, that's almost like the transition back to that side of the world anyway.
So what do you think that's going to involve? Is that going to involve us having to deal with this this strange Ellison that's hunting us now and trying to work out what that is and what that's about?
I'm curious what his actual goal is. Like, he obviously, I don't think he just wants to be in any body. I think he wants his body back as much as he wants to hunt us.
I don't really think he gives a shit about his body.
I'd have
right
to
now
imagine.
It's just misdirection.
Yeah, there's no way of knowing where he's flying off to, because if he really wanted to confront us, he could again. I don't think he finds the body he's in to have a particularly good fighting form.
Well, the fighting form is irrelevant. If he's got the echo, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
and the other thing is he took his own life. So how much does he even really want to be alive right now?
Well, that's the thing. He's suddenly come to this realization that, okay, he can't die. At least not really.
Traditional means.
Not traditional means, if you will. So he's like, all right, well, what's my second best option? Is it killing the Warrior of Light? Is it just making sure that he gets to fight the Warrior of Light again and again and again? Is it, getting his own body back? Is it destroying Alamigo? Like, what's the next best thing for him?
Maybe he's gonna go train. Find a way to become more powerful. Something like.
I feel like the body he's in is gonna because you have to remember he might have the resonant, but he's in this very much amateur body right now.
But the body doesn't mean shit when you've got the echo. Like, the body, it doesn't matter.
It's gotta matter for something.
Your physical strength in terms of like how much you can bench in Heidelin depends on how much ether you're channeling, right?
Yeah.
The whole point of the echo is that you're massively extending those mortal limits, and your upper limit is basically infinite. So you could take like the body of like a 6-year-old child, and if it had the echo and was like good at using the echo, it could bench press a fucking mountain. That's just how the echo works.
It'd be like Yoda.
Yeah, exactly. The body doesn't. The body means nothing. He might think it does. He might decide that it does, but it doesn't.
He was a big dude.
Yeah, he was a pretty big dude.
Yeah, now he's a pretty
For
small
you.
dude. You sounded like Yoda more than Bane. Is this like after?
For you.
There you go. That's how you gotta do it. All right. So with that, we look forward to 4.4 returning to Gurabanya, returning to Fordola, and establishing the connection. By the time 4.4 comes out, we'll be just a couple months before the first fan festival, where we'll actually get a peek.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's around that time. It'll still be a little whiles off. It should be September-ish for patch. For the patch, it'll be about 2 months before 4.5 hits. So
that is insane to me.
Yeah. And so we'll probably have a much better idea of this conversation when 4.4 actually comes around. But until then, we can only wait and see. And we still have more stories to dissect. We have the continuation of Pagos and Eureka. We have Heaven on High, if that even goes more than a patch worth of story. We don't know what their direction is yet. And of course, we have Hildebrand, which I finally did, by the way. And loved it.
Good for you. Good for you.
And I thought it was hilarious. So, yeah, so I'm looking for. There was a bit of misdirection in the preview for 4.25's Hildebrand, but I'm guessing the 4.15 Hildebrand was more of a preview of all of it and not just the 4.25 direction, because a certain kabuki faced character did not make the much desired appearance or the much hoped for appearance in the 4.25 one. I want Gilgamesh back. And I want him to fight. And I want him to fight Jimmy. I want him to fight Jimmy. He's got to fight Jimmy. Give him a break. He wasn't in the whole last expansion. It's been years since we've had Gilgamesh. Can you just let me be excited about this?
I'm glad.
I'm excited to see Gilgamesh. I love Gilgamesh.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful piece of man candy.
Yeah.
I don't agree with that, but
come on.
I'll let you be you. There you go. Okay, so is there anything else for 4.3? Anything else you haven't commented on? Anything else you want to comment on that you haven't had time to yet? The Extreme Primal was the only thing I suppose we didn't hit on. We spoke about the narrative of the Primal itself. I guess real quick. Extreme Primal thoughts.
The soundtrack, I think, is my favorite in the game for any Primal.
So I love the soundtrack for Tsukiyomi. I am waiting for I guess the more traditional version of Revolutions to be used, as opposed to the version that is used. I'm curious if they will, like Dragon Song and Answers, both have an encounter that's tied to them. And I wonder if that was their idea with Tsukiyomi.
Yeah.
For the first phase, specifically. But other than that, so I was much happier with this than Byakko in terms of the fight itself.
Highly
in every way.
The first couple of phases still a bit like slow and tedious, but
yeah,
it's a better fight. It's
there's no air phase. That's all. I will take the Spectre phase over air phase any day.
I agree, but the Spectre phase is still like, okay, wake me up. And
isn't it literally the same as normal? I only did normal.
There's a couple more Imperials.
Yeah, there's a few more mechanics, but I think it's more similar.
No, it's literally just I think they spawn 3 extra Imperials in the first 2 waves, that's it. And then
even that itself is forgiving, because even you can have like 96% and still survive.
Yeah, we should have had more going on there. That's my only complaint, is that Spectre face. We should have had something else. Moons falling from the sky, anything. Anything.
Still gotta go to Susano, yeah. Susano's the big daddy of the primals.
Speaking of which, what do y'all think of the moon mechanic? I loved it. I thought that was really unique. I
enjoyed it. It was really fun. It always astounds me that the game can be this old and still come out with new mechanics like every patch.
I was gonna say that about the 24-man earlier, about the math thing. They're so creative.
Totally.
That it's been out this long and we still keep getting interesting new mechanics that you can't see it any better. That's wild. I love that about this.
I like that in the middle of Construct 7 they just found a way to use 3 different mechanics and they just copy. It's like, all right, what do people hate the most about Ferrofluid? Sure, the Ferrofluid. The missiles, the slow ass missiles from Guardian. Yeah, use those again.
Yeah.
And the other one was Dice, the don't move from like Susano. Acceleration. That's what it's called. Acceleration with the dice over the head. Yeah. They do a lot of interesting things. In the first boss, Tsunami, second boss has the time tethers, which no one seems to understand are time tethers, and they just run a circle. I had someone who literally like did a full circle through like the center of the room with the time tether earlier, and I just watched all the deaths all at once.
It's the worst, isn't it? Oh my god.
Construct 7's got some good dance moves. Obviously, yeah, that's an easy one. He's got the fucking moves.
He's got some sweet moves.
And Yayazmat wasn't really anything too particular other than the health thing. Other than that, he's pretty straightforward. He just cuts through, just like a knife through butter.
My favorite part of Yayazmat is the very end. When he powers up, he goes red, and he's about to die, right? And he starts acting like he's about to die. He powers up, and then he just starts clawing after you right away. He's just going nuts, and you're thinking, this guy's in desperation mode. That was so realistic.
In Final Fantasy XII, that ability doubles his level. Essentially, it's his last measure, last 5 million of his health, basically. Most people agree that of the original version, which has 50 million health, that version happens at 10%, which is why it happens at 10% in this fight. And that's pretty much the only real part of the OG Yayazmat fight. The first 45 million is just boring, and the last 5 million is where he just goes berserk. He literally, because he is death on hit, and he starts attacking 16 times per turn. So he just starts one-shotting people, and then
That's so dumb.
yeah, 5% chance to auto kill on hit. So. He doesn't do that here, but he treats you like it because if you get hit by anything once he growing threats.
I think it's a bit higher than 5%. Yeah.
It feels like it in Final Fantasy XII, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, it's dangerous. If he hits you, he pretty much kills you in that last part of the fight. It's a good homage. It's a good homage. Unfortunately, we burned through 10% of a boss in 20 seconds, so he doesn't really get to use it too much.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I want to die, I just wait for next Tuesday. Because next Tuesday we have the Weapons Refrain.
Ooh.
Ultimate.
It's true. Excited. Are we still hanging on to our predictions for that?
For which part?
For clear time.
Oh, for clear times. Fahros, how quick do you think it'll get cleared? Since we haven't gotten your opinion on that.
Oh, I have no idea.
I'll tell you this much. Unending Coil was 10 or 11 days, I always forget. That was a roughly 19 to 20 minute encounter. This one will be shorter. This one will be shorter, but it'll be faster paced.
Oh, man, I don't know. I'm so bad with stuff like this. I mean, logic would dictate then, maybe 7-8 days, but maybe even sooner than that. Maybe the first 4 or 5 days.
I'm looking at week 1. I think this one gets beat week 1. I think taking 3 minutes or 3 or 4 minutes out of a fight goes a long way.
I think so
to the amount of attempts you get. The pace and the way the mechanics confuse people might trip it up and make it a similar progression cycle. I think removing several minutes from the fight, regardless of the increased pace, is enough to cut down the kill time fairly significant.
I agree. 6 days.
I'm just saying week 1. 5 days, 6 days is around where I would probably guess. But we'll see.
It's 370, 375.
370. Well, it's not. It doesn't really have an item level cap. It's the max item level. They'll probably cap it at 375 and 4.4 though.
Okay.
So they did it for 345 for Coil. So I'd have to imagine they cap it at 375 and 4.4. I'm gonna go with 5 or 6 days though.
Yeah, I'm with you.
And it won't be. I probably won't be me in 5 or 6 days. I'll be dead on the inside after 5 days. So that's the last thing before we do sign off sponsors. We have not decided what the hell's happening next week because I will be in Ultimate and streaming it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yeah.
For 16 hours a day.
Yeah. Good luck.
For 16 hours a day.
I'm not going for world first, but I'm fighting that fucker.
That's just still hardcore prog.
That's badass, man. I wish.
So there's options. Sly can host the show without me is one option. Sly, you've done it before.
No.
You've done it heaps of times, man.
The other option is to do a show early next week, although about what is very unclear. The other option is a Sunday or Monday show the week after, or I raid till Saturday, so Sunday or Monday would probably be a show that week. And then that week would have 2 shows because then we have the live letter from E3, and we'd have to probably do that show on a Thursday because I raid Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday for only 5 hours, but it's at 4 p.m. on those days for 5 hours a day. So we have some options. Slyh suggested we just skip next week and do an ultimate show on the following Monday. That was his suggestion.
And see, the trouble with that is it's the
Monday before E3, which is why Sunday I think almost becomes a better option.
Yeah.
So it'll be Sunday or Monday that week. And then later that week we'll probably have another show about the E3 live letter.
Right.
And hopefully we can get back to some normality after that. No, it'll be normal at some point. But that's what we're looking at. So when we have an announcement, if you follow us on Twitter or whatnot, we'll be sure to post that so everybody knows. So with that, I think we can finally sign off, and I can go do some minimum item level primals to get ready for Ultimate Weapon a little bit.
Memes.
Yay.
I don't think minimum item level is low enough. I think I need to go lower. I want to set the item level. I don't want just minimum item level. I want set item level as a feature. That's what I want.
Oh no.
It's gonna be fun. I know these fights like the back of my fucking hand. I'm gonna be asleep half the time. I'm a DPS. It's like, oh no, it's the weight of the land that I won't get hit by. Alright, great. That's so much tougher for me. We gotta go way lower than item level. I think it's 80 or 75. That's nothing for minimum item level. But first, we have to have our courteous guest sign off after this long show. So, thank you for joining us, Ethys and Fahros.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so we're going to sign off in opposite order to the order we signed on. So, Ethys, why don't you tell everyone where they can find you at?
I'm Ethys. You can find me on Twitch and Twitter and YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, all the places. There's Ethys Asher, where I play video games and I talk about video games. And it's video games. And then there's Fat.
Oddly specific. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then why don't you introduce the next person?
Our next guest requires no introduction, but his name is Fahros.
Where can they find you at, Fahros?
Hey. All right. My name is Fahros. Good to see you, dudes. Thanks for having me on again. Happy and everybody else. I stream at twitch.tv/Fahros. It's pretty much everything at Fahros. You can Twitter me at Fahros. I'm the samurai main of Twitch. I try to show that the job doesn't suck. I do the damage. I pug raid. So if you guys are ever looking for the party finder perspective of all these raids that you see badasses doing in the static, I try to show that. I'd love to see you guys there. It's always hype. It's always a good time. Thank you very much for having me on. Good to see you guys in the chat. Stay hype. Oh, and I guess next up is Slyh.
Hi, Slyh.
Hi, I'm Slyh. I'm 33. I like barbecue and long walks on the beach, and yeah, I play
just
video games.
don't do the walks right after the barbecue because you're gonna throw up.
You should do the walk first so you can build up an appetite.
Yes.
Yeah, that definitely helps.
Exactly.
You can find me on twitch.tv/Slyh, aka Greyfox, Instagram at Slyh, aka Greyfox07, Twitter at Slythefox, youtube.com/The Velvet Room. Yeah, I play the video games. I play the SMTs.
Is that it?
So yeah, that's pretty much it. Mike.
Y'all need to get hype at the very end of y'all sign offs right now. All right, y'all not ready for this. All right, you ready for this? Hey everyone, I'm Mr. Happy. You can find me Mr. Happy127, Twitter, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. It's been a crazy week this last week. We revisited Final Fantasy XI for the 16th anniversary, working on one of the mythic weapons, which has been a royal pain in the ass. We visited Bless Online recently, which was, well, watch the most recent YouTube video. It's let's just say Kevin Hart with The Rock's body. That's all you need to know. Or Tiny the Tiger from Frosted Flakes, or from sorry, that's Tony. Tiny is from Crash Bandicoot. But anyway, and then on top of that, we've had Dauntless open beta hit, so it's just been crazy times. Next week we have Ultimate streams. We'll be streaming the entire thing, 16 hours a day, including break time when I'll be eating and hating myself for being live 16 hours a day. So you get to wallow in all of my suffering. And it's going to be a fucking hype time. So hopefully you guys are ready for all the content coming around patch 4.3 next week. 4.31 specifically. Be sure to join that because it's going to be hype. See, now see the energy, how it stays constant the whole time.
That was pretty good.
I'm so glad you guys look so excited. Now I get to keep that energy going into the sponsor list real quick before we wrap up the show. And Ethys is really keeping the energy there. I mean, to be fair, it's like 9 a.m. for you, and you've only had, what, 1 cup of coffee, so...
I haven't had breakfast yet. No, it's actually 20 to midday, and I have had a cup of coffee and nothing to eat, so I'm just gonna...
You should eat more.
Yeah. Foods.
You should just stuff... You know what you do? You just get a spoon of peanut butter in your mouth right in the morning, just to cover you for the show. Get that protein. He's melting. He's melting. All right, I got to do the sponsor list, though, so try not to melt till I'm done. Okay, well, it's too late. Anyway, thank you to our sponsors over on Patreon for helping combat #demonetized over on the tubs. For that, we have several sponsors. We have our Patron of Light, Khuja Cross, and the Advent Free Company on Jenova. I might edit in the screenshot because I don't think the most recent screenshot is the one being used on the media overlay, but they've been a huge time supporter for the show for the last several months. And you know what, Fahros, you might actually like this. You know, let me get this on the screen. If you pull up the stream, you'll probably enjoy. Yeah, if you pull up the stream and you just, oh my God, Ethys, sit up. You're not even on the screen anymore, and I just noticed. There you go. There you go. See, they looked 4.3 samurai buffs. Now they're taking the tank busters to the face. That's because they're so strong now from their buffs that they just take tank busters to the face.
Yeah, you damn right we are,
really
dude.
good.
Third Eye's 10% mitigation now.
Merciful Eyes also reduces your enmity. Use that shit once in a while. All right. Yeah,
that cost me DPS though. That's like
yeah. Actually, you have a good point. I wouldn't do that either. So, the point has been raised. Thank you for supporting as the patron of light. And as you can see, you have a fellow samurai of light here to support you back.
Yeah, she looking good.
Nice. This is fine. All right. Then we have all of our other sponsors. We have our standard sponsors. We have Dom. We have Asuka Wake from the Jenova server. We have Lamilia Nella of Midgard Stormer. We have Serren the Avalanche family on Malboro. We have Janu Ayatu, Nyrik of the Clan Vizsla, Kifka and the Grey Eagles on Exodus, Darkgraver, Katayoshi from Khuja, Skia Symphonia from Ragnarok, Rah Xephon from Exodus, finally Westeros the Purple Warrior, Eadric Redsteele on Exodus, Lexxie Valentine, Mantaru the Rivivus FC from Zodiark. We have Sour Cream and Chives from Jenova, Rynoet Chikara, Goetia Valefar of Siren, Hersh, Fersh of Faerie, Phoenix Down Free Company on Goblin, and Serren from Zodiark. We also have our elite sponsors. We have Sathal, Datneko, Diablo, Holy Tabasco, Red Thorn Asura, Kurenai Oni, Askin Hawk from Shiva, Oscar, Kraz015, Mustang, Serenity FC on Ultras, Kat Kazuma, Serial Kira, and the Reckless Tea Party on Cactar, Ignis Fairgun from Diablos, Valestra of Famfrit, Noct Cordis from Excalibur, Krovos, Moonscar, Private Mikey, Spike, Nadia and Kirasami, Rudy Rudiger, Ten Colossus, Killer Hackman, Raul Jr., Remiel Gaming, and Killtastic Jones.
Wait! What?
What?
What did they do?
What?
They're all your sponsors, dude.
Those are all our patrons. Yeah, those are our sponsors over on Patreon.
Oh, damn. Okay. Well, I was just saying that's pretty impressive.
Thank you to all our sponsors.
Yeah,
Thank you
shout out to
for
the sponsors.
combating #demonetized. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us say dick as many times as we like.
Chariot.
No, we call it the big one now.
The big one.
I thought we established that.
Thank you for allowing us to worship the big one. We appreciate your patronage.
I don't want to. Remember when I wanted to erase this conversation before, and now it's back.
You just brought it up, you son.
You're the one who wanted to talk about dicks again.
Yeah, but not necessarily the big one. We're just talking about the regular one.
That's a special occasion. That's a special occasion.
I was just talking about the little one.
Well, thank you so much for coming for this
guys.
episode, and we will see you next week. Again, we will let you know on the Twitters what day that will be. So just like Mike said, follow us. You know the deal. But we'll see you next week. Until then, take care.
See you, lovelies. Bye-bye.
Bye. Done.